She's a huge GOP donor who's reportedly pledged $100 million to help reelect Trump.
Meantime, Vice President Harris heads to Detroit for a live stream event with Oprah. The Pentagon says it had no prior knowledge of deadly electronics attacks targeting Hezbollah militants in Lebanon.
On the larger point on, regional escalation, that's something that, of course, we're worried about, we're concerned about.
Deputy Pentagon spokesperson Sabrina Singh as Israel and Hezbollah trade airstrikes and rockets today. America is listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
It may have impacted your kid's class. Sunny at 88 degrees on the circle. Don't worry about the radar. There's no rain in sight. 60 is your low tonight. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 3:02. This week, threats made by students across Indiana have caused class disruptions and led to arrests in several cities. Ryan Hedrick reports.
A 14-year-old in Lafayette, an 18-year-old in Goshen, and 18 other kids across Indiana are facing charges for making threats against schools. Police say these threats have caused disruptions, including forcing some schools to switch to e-learning. On Thursday in Mooresville, a suspicious threat turned out to be a piece of equipment left behind by police after they were training at a school. Ryan Hedrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
There are 92 counties in Indiana, more than half of them currently under a burn ban.
Conditions are so dry, and that's kind of where we're in this situation where it's not the best idea to burn.
Randy Bowers with the National Weather Service says most of the state is now under a moderate drought. There's only a chance of some light rain when you look ahead toward the weekend. Hoosiers are concerned about their quickly rising utility bills, says Indiana Democratic candidate for governor Jennifer McCormick. Today, she released her own plan to address the issue.
It's not just homeowners. I'm also hearing it from business because it impacts everybody. I know some of our school leaders are talking about the impact they've had in utility costs that are just outrageous, and they're trying to keep the lights on.
McCormick says her plan would stop utilities from using ratepayer money for lobbying, advertising, trade dues, or political contributions to prevent misuse of funds meant for services. And the Indianapolis Colts are still looking for that first win on the season. They're 2 weeks in, 0-2. They've got a chance to get that first dub against the Chicago Bears Sunday. And the Bears are led by Coach Matt Eberflus, former Colts defensive coordinator, as well as quarterback Caleb Williams, the top draft pick.
Watched him a lot in college, and familiar faces on the sideline as well. So looking forward to Sunday.
Yeah. Feelings about Flus coming back?
I have no feelings about him, but I'm looking forward to playing Chicago Bears.
Colts linebacker Zaire Franklin on the upcoming opponent. Sunday's game is a 1 o'clock kickoff. Traffic and weather in 1 minute. It's 3:04.
Just when I was getting used to being a single mom to 2 kids, I learned I was about to be laid off. I had no idea how I would make ends meet. Then I heard about the Indiana Emergency Rental Assistance Program, and I applied for help.
This is Diane's story. Indiana renters who are struggling to pay rent can call 211 or visit indianahousingnow.org to apply for rental assistance through this limited time program. We're here for Diane. We're here for renters. We're here for you.
Based on a real story program funded by the U.S. Department of Treasury.
And with traffic on the 5s at 3:05, here's Matt Baer.
All right, Harrison, looking at eastbound 465 slow from Keystone Avenue over to Allisonville Road. Inbound 65 a little bit slow, 21st to Meridian Penn. Traffic sponsored by Grand Appliance Shop. Grand Appliance for expert advice. Thousands of in-stock appliance options, faster delivery, and professional installation. Learn more at grandappliance.com or your local Grand Appliance showroom. I'm Matt Baer. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
Thank you, Matt. And here's your forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
Another hot and dry day today. We'll see mostly sunny skies with highs near 90. Tonight, mainly clear with lows falling to 62. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Tara Hastings for 93 WIBC.
I'm Harrison Silcox on the level on the go and on WIBC.com.
Hammer and Nigel.
Can you believe these characters are weirdos?
So let's
My name is Nigel. Jason Hammer right over there, the FOP, that would be the Indianapolis Fraternal Order of Police, calling for some major changes, Hammer, including bringing in the Indiana State Police as IMPD facing very low staffing levels since it was formed in 2007. Probably the lowest. They are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of officers off their goal.
And it's called Operation Firewall. Now, this is just a proposal by the FOP. Nothing finalized, nothing written in stone just yet, just a proposal. But it's calling for more officer pay because the FOP says the IMPD pay is not keeping up with the surrounding areas, and those areas are poaching their officers.
Yeah, it's not like these guys are leaving the profession altogether, the people that are leaving the IMPD. They're not leaving the profession. They're not retiring.
Right.
At least most of them aren't. They're going to other gigs that provide more money and more support.
The plan also calls for the departments to transition to 10-hour shifts so that officers will overlap during peak times. So somebody just getting started, somebody that's just wrapping up, you end up having more officers out on the street. But the big one, and you brought this up, Nige, the proposal calls for the Indiana State Police to be brought in to supplement the IMPD. So this means all of the things that the IMPD can't get to right now, monitoring highways, streets, major events if they're short-staffed. This is where the IMPD would work with the Indiana State Police.
Weren't they supposed to, didn't they want to bring in additional personnel from outside the IMPD during the riots? Just as a side note, as I'm thinking off the top of my head here.
There were so many people on IMPD that were willing to come down to work on the riots. And they were told no.
Just saying. Just saying.
And they were told no from somebody that was not the mayor of this city. But that's another discussion for another time. It sounds like, though, the chief of police, Chris Bailey, not real warm to that idea. Just my opinion, it kind of feels like Chris Bailey, the chief, feels like, oh, you think we can't do the job down here?
Well, maybe, okay, that's fine, but get up to the staffing numbers. Get the staffing numbers you need.
And that's easier said than done when you look at who the prosecutor is and when you look who the mayor is. Like, I do think pay is a big part of it. I'm not going to say that it's not. But I think even if it's a lateral move financially, if you're an officer, would you rather go work for Avon, Beech Grove Police, Lawrence, making the same amount of money, but knowing you've got a community that supports you?
Yeah, Johnson County.
Right.
Boy,
right.
That guy didn't mess around. That prosecutor does not mess around. I think we've talked to some folks there in Johnson County about crime permeating out of Indianapolis into the donut counties.
100%. Now, Beech Grove does have their own chief of police and their own mayor. Lawrence, I guess, would still be on the hook for old Boss Hogsett. But, man, I'm telling you, from the officers that I've spoken with, the way they've been treated by this city, like if they cross the street wrong, you've got Ryan Mears and Joe Hogsett making a scene. Meanwhile, you've got hooligans, lunatics, violent repeat offenders back out on the streets. And oh, by the way, the family of Drayshawn Reed got a big financial settlement. And if you don't remember what that was about, Drayshawn Reed tried to murder an IMPD officer, and the city settled with his family.
It was all caught on camera.
Correct.
Him firing off rounds.
They had a perfect press conference where they laid out the ballistics, the timeline, the video. Because this was at the time when Indy was still kind of a powder keg. The George Floyd stuff had been, brewing, and the situation that took place down in Kentucky.
I'm not sure, man, Hammer, I'm not sure it's not still a powder keg. I mean, the weekend we had prior here, we opened up, I believe, the first segment with, 15 shootings, 3 deaths, many stabbings, averaging out several per hour.
200 homicides in the city is the new norm, and that's disgusting. And when you hear that goon in the mayor's office try to tell you crime is down, homicides are down, the follow-up question from any citizen or any journalist needs to be, down from what? The record, which you were at the helm for? Is that what we're talking about? You're not supposed to set a record every year.
Inflation's down, Hammer.
Gas prices down.
From where?
Exactly. Since we're discussing all things ridiculous in Marion County, prosecutor Ryan Mears, all of a sudden, now he wants to get tough with some of these juveniles acting like clowns. He's filed criminal charges against 9 students in the past 2 weeks for making various threats at schools across central Indy.
Good.
Now, this has been like a trend. Feels kind of organized almost. All of these threats coming in to all these schools, and I don't know who's behind it. I don't know who the ringleader is, but it feels organized. But now you've got Ryan Mears trying to be Johnny Tough Guy. Where has this been? How about you treat adults the same way? How about you treat some of these kids that are going into schools and beating the hell out of teachers or their fellow classmates the same way? It's okay to put a kid in juvie. It really is. But he refuses to do it. And this is why the schools are the wild, wild west and the city is a hellhole. So we'll see what happens. He wants to be tough guy now. We'll see how it plays out. Man, I don't know if you heard this testimony in Washington. It feels like this should be front page news, but I doubt it will be. Former Border Patrol Agent Chief Aaron Heitke says he was ordered by the Biden-Harris administration to cover up the disaster at the border.
In San Diego, we had an exponential increase in significant interest aliens. These are aliens with significant ties to terrorism. Prior to this administration, the San Diego sector averaged 10 to 15 SIA arrests per year. Once word was out the border was far easier to cross, San Diego went to over 100 SIAs in 2022, well over that in 2023, and even more than that registered this year. These are only the ones we caught. At the time, I was told I could not release any information on this increase in SIAs or mention any of the arrests. The administration was trying to convince the public there was no threat at the border. Fentanyl is another issue. The San Diego area sees between 80 and 90% of the methamphetamine and fentanyl seizures annually for our entire country. With little enforcement at the border, these drugs were coming through en masse. During my last year in San Diego, the price for a single pill of fentanyl, for example, went from $10 to 25 cents.
So there's a lot to unpack in that little bit of audio. Data hidden from terror encounters, zero resources to track fentanyl, and it became so plentiful. You heard that. The price for a pill went from $10 to a quarter. Here's a little bit more.
To make matters worse, during 2022 and 23, I had to shut down San Diego traffic checkpoints, which are critical for drug interdiction, because the resources had been diverted to the process and release mission. The large numbers also had and still have a negative impact on the San Diego community. I had to release illegal aliens by the hundreds each day into communities who could not support them. To quiet the problem, 2 flights a week were provided from San Diego to Texas. These flights simply brought aliens that would have been released in San Diego over to Texas. Each flight cost approximately $150,000. This was the administration's way to try and quiet the border-wide crisis.
$150,000 taxpayer-funded flights sending illegals from their precious blue state to a red state.
Yeah, it was also the administration's intention to eventually turn these illegal immigrants into legal voters. 100%. I believe that with all my heart.
There is so much there. And again, this isn't our opinion. This is why we love to play audio a lot on this show. So nobody can come at us and say, well, I can't believe you said this. That's not true. Really? Then go to Washington and speak with the guy that just took the oath and had a hearing. I feel like he knows what he's talking about.
Does it surprise you, though? Does any of this shock you? I mean, this is coming from the agency that wouldn't recant or apologize or pull back on their accusation that the Border Patrol agents on horseback were whipping the Haitian immigrants in the river with their reins on the horse. That was a total non-story, a total hoax. Nobody ever apologized for it. Nobody ever backed down from. So it shouldn't surprise you that any of this is going on. That fentanyl number is really, really disturbing. What do you say, $25 to 10 cents?
$10 to 25 cents.
$10 to 25 cents.
For one pill.
That's chilling.
And these taxpayer-funded migrant flights, we've been talking about this for a while. People have seen this happen. But in the past, you've had people go, you can't prove that. That's fake news. That's a Republican talking point. But heaven forbid you put a group of migrants on a bus and take them to Martha's Vineyard, and then everybody loses their you-know-what. Before we hit a break here, Nige, do you need a reason to drink tonight?
Always and never. This is the answer.
Good answer. I'll accept that. Are you familiar with all these leftist politicians and crooked national media members who always said Donald Trump is a threat to democracy because he's an election denier? He won't accept the results of an election. You've heard that before, right?
Oh, sure. I've heard that from election deniers.
Well, your reason to drink tonight, happy anniversary. 5 years ago today, crooked Hillary Clinton called Donald Trump the illegitimate president.
I believe he knows he's an illegitimate president. He knows that there were a bunch of different reasons why the election turned out the way it did. And I take responsibility for those parts of it that I should. But Jane, it was like applying for a job and getting 66 million letters of recommendation and losing to a corrupt human tornado. And so I know that he knows that this wasn't on the level.
Corrupt Human Tornado sounds like an awesome name for a band. Opening up tonight from Metallica, Corrupt Human Tornado.
Or a nickname for a heel wrestler.
That's right.
Jason Hammer, the Corrupt Tornado.
Boo! Matt Baer, what's up?
All right, fellas, looking at eastbound 465 stop-and-go traffic from Keystone Avenue over to Allisonville Road. Inbound 65 already a grind from 29th to Meridian Penn. And eastbound 70 slow to downtown before West Street to Meridian, Illinois. Traffic sponsored by Allstate. As some people just know, you could save money on car insurance by checking Allstate first. So what are you waiting for? Check Allstate first for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate. I'm Matt Baer. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
What a beautiful day. Sunshine, 87 right now at the American Standard Cooling Weather Center. When we come back, we'll talk about the big road show Nigel and I have tomorrow. Plus, it's International Talk Like a Pirate Day.
No.
We're going to have a little fun.
No.
Stick around. It's the Hammer and Nigel Show.
Mark Deedle, as always, the only real estate expert I trust with the sale of my home, and I'd also trust him to find me a brand new home as well. Here's what Mark from Danville had to say. I finished building my new perfect home out of state and needed out of my old place quickly. Plus, to cover the cost of the new home, I needed a big price. Mark Deedle's team was the answer. My home sold in 3 days on the market over my asking price.
Mark Deedle is the best, and what separates him from the competition is the guarantee. Mark Deedle guarantees your home sold at a mutually agreed upon price and deadline, or he will buy it. That is the Mark Deedle guarantee. You pick your move date, no long-term contracts, and you can cancel at any time. Call Mark Deedle today, 755-4232. That's 317-755-4232, or go to markdeedle.com. Mark D-I-E-T-E-L, markdeedle.com. Tell him Hammer and Nigel sent you.
Inside Indiana Business Radio, the news you need to get ahead. Indiana's business news leader, weekdays at 6:32 a.m. and 5:56 p.m. on WIBC.
Did you know the Social Security Trust Fund is expected to run out of money in less than 10 years? And according to Barron's, an average income couple could lose up to $16,500 every year in Social Security income. Multiply that by 10 or 20 years, and it could be hundreds of thousands of dollars. That's why it's so critical you have the right strategy to file for Social Security.
Discover how you could get every nickel that's rightfully yours with a free, that's the key word, free custom Social Security analysis from Bill Demery, your retirement guy. Bill Demery is my retirement guy. He's Nigel's retirement guy. He should be yours. So if you've saved more than $200,000 and have not yet filed for Social Security, schedule that free analysis right now. 317-648-5120. 317-648-5120. 317-648-5120. Bill Demery, your retirement guy.
Discover cancer care that empowers you at Community Health Network MD Anderson Cancer Center. Our multidisciplinary care team will guide you every step along the way.
It was very overwhelming at first, but I found this whole community of people who are understanding and just very supportive. So I have a lot of thankfulness and gratefulness for who I am through this and after this.
Learn more at ecommunity.com/cancer.
At Shane Company, we make finding your perfect engagement ring fun and easy. Because let's be honest, you might feel a little stressed out. We get it. That's why we do all the hard stuff. It's our job to bring you the biggest selection of beautiful diamonds and colorful gemstones, so many amazing settings, and all the customization your heart desires. We've got your style and your price range covered, and we're here to guide you every step of the way. Come in for a warm welcome and leave with your dream ring and an experience you'll never forget. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline Nasal Spray?
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it!
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
Earn, save, grow. It's time your money works harder and goes further with a Stockyards Bank and Trust CD. For a limited time, earn 5.15 annual percentage yield with our 5-month CD special. Proudly serving our communities since 1904. Visit any of our 5 Indianapolis area locations or syb.com/IndyCD today and experience the Stockyards Bank difference. 10,000 minimum balance required. Limited time offer. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
This hour on 93 WIBC is powered by Absolute Comfort, your American Standard air dealer serving Central Indiana.
Well, we're coming to your city. You're listening to the Hammer and Nigel Show.
On the road, the Hammer and Nigel Road Show tomorrow. The Suburban Indie Home and Outdoor Living Show at Grand Park up in Westfield. Free parking, lots of games, everything you'd expect at an indie home and outdoor living show. This thing is going to be huge, and if you've ever been to Grand Park before, you know how big that facility is. Lots of vendors, food, drinks, and everything that goes along with the home and outdoor living show.
We encourage everyone to show up and join us tomorrow dressed as a sexy homemaid, someone that cleans the homes. And whoever dresses the sexiest, you'll get to hang out with us.
Okay.
That's actually not true at all. But whatever you want to wear, man, show up. Buy your tickets right now. It's cheaper. $7 online compared to $10 at the door. Beer Sample Friday, live with the Hammer and Nigel Show. What could possibly go wrong? Allison, I need some mood music, please.
Yo ho, a pirate's life for me. We pillage, we plunder, we rifle and loot, drink up
Big Nine.
Yes.
Today is International Talk Like a Pirate Day.
Wonderful.
Which brings us to great moments in pirate history. Now, this is a little different, but a couple years ago, the Reds and the Pirates got into a huge brawl. Yeah. And this isn't like, the bullpens run in, everybody hugs and leaves. Punches were thrown and hell broke loose.
And now there's some serious chirping coming from the Pirates dugout. And now Garrett's on his way to the dugout, and here we go. Garrett goes in there punching. This is not a good scene at all. And they got to separate these two teams somehow because this is not going to stop.
I love a good baseball brawl. Great moments in pirate history. The episode of Seinfeld where Jerry had to wear the puffy shirt.
I don't want to be a pirate.
I can't wear this puffy shirt on TV. I mean, look at it. It looks ridiculous.
Well, you got to wear it now. All those stores are stocking it based on the condition that you're going to wear this on the TV show. The factory in New Jersey is already making them.
They're making these?
Yes. This pirate trend that she's come up with, Jerry, this is going to be the new look for the 90s. You're going to be the first pirate.
But I don't want to be a pirate.
Great moments in pirate history.
I don't want to be a pirate.
So, since it's International Talk Like a Pirate Day, here's the activity that I've designed for the class. I'm going to go around the room here, each and every one of you. You've been assigned a classic Joe Biden line, something Joe Biden has said in the past. In your best pirate voice, you will deliver that line, okay? So, Allison, you're going to start first here. First.
Okay.
You're right out of the gate.
No pressure. Get ready, pal. You're gonna in for a problem.
I love how she cleared her throat at the beginning as if that
I was
were
trying
going
to commit.
that was helping. That was going to
I think
help
it helped
her.
a lot. I sound like the guy on SpongeBob at the beginning.
Are you ready, kids? All right, Nige.
Just clear your throat.
Oh, you want to see an effective strategy to mobilize? I'll show you an effective strategy to mobilize. Hey, it's you, international departure.
Yeah. Johnny Depp, Captain Jack Sparrow.
I put a little Jack Sparrow in with the traditional pirate in there.
Reading the true international departure line. All right, my turn. Again, these are all classic
Let's
lines.
see what you got, big guy.
Joe Biden has said. There you go, Allison. Arr, brew beer here. Ha ish hasha. Used to make brew beer. Arr here arsh. Definer. Ooh, Earth Rider. Thanks for the Great Lakes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Inspirational.
I'm not sure if that sounded like a pirate or not, but that was fantastic.
Real lines that Joe Biden has said.
I heard a little Dutch in there, I feel like.
A little Dutch, maybe.
Der brew here, der.
Or maybe it's pig Latin.
Caller number 9 and 10 right now. 9 and 10. We're going to give you tickets to go hang out with us tomorrow at the Suburban Indie Home and Outdoor Living Show. You can go tomorrow or it runs through the 22nd. It's at Grand Park. So if you want to come hang out with us on Beer Sample Friday, caller number 9 and 10, we'll give you 4-pack of tickets each. 239-9393.
Oh, let's see. Window Nation replaced about 15 or 16 windows in the front of my house. They did it within a day. They left my place looking cleaner than it was before the install. Window Nation's installed over 200,000 windows since last year. I'm a loyal customer, and with this new deal, you should be too.
Listen, we still have some warm weather on the way, but we're not too far away from the cold weather season coming in. This is why it's important to get those windows changed right now. And with this deal at Window Nation, you can save thousands of dollars and have energy-efficient windows. It keeps your perfect climate inside, the nasty weather out. Buy 2 windows, get 2 for free with 0 down, 0 interest, 0 payments for 24 months. 866-90-NATION. That's 866-90-NATION. Or visit windownation.com. Tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you.
Cindy Carrasco has spent a career holding the powerful accountable. As Indiana's Inspector General and Director of the State Ethics Commission, Cindy fought waste, fraud, and abuse wherever she found it. Cindy also combated wrongdoing in state government, which meant standing up and doing the right thing even if it wasn't popular. Now, as our state senator, Cindy Carrasco continues to fight on behalf of all Hoosiers by improving the quality of our children's education, providing tax relief for everyone, and working to make our communities safe by getting law enforcement the resources they need to fight crime, violence, and keep fentanyl away from our families. It's why Cindy has been endorsed by the Indiana Fraternal Order of Police, State Police Alliance, and the Professional Firefighters of Indiana. Because they know that Cindy has their back, and we know she has ours. Vote for more government transparency, better schools, lower taxes, and safer streets. Vote Cindy Carrasco for State Senate.
Paid for by Cindy for Senate.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect that water is the reason parts of your concrete have gotten so uneven. Walkway tripping hazards, sinking pool deck, cracked driveways are dangerous threats to everyone's safety. But there's one way to learn how your concrete can be lifted. A free home inspection from Indiana Foundation Service. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at indianafoundation.com.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
when a lack of rain can become a hazard. Mostly sunny, 87 degrees downtown. No rain at the radar. Low drops to about 60 degrees tonight. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 3:31. With dry weather and drought conditions going on in the state, the threat for fires has gone up.
The good thing is the winds aren't super strong, so that'll keep significant fire spread, but it's enough, even with the dry conditions, to where that's a concern that the fires could get out of control.
Randy Bowers with the National Weather Service in Indianapolis says it's best if you don't burn anything outside. More than half of Indiana's counties currently under a burn ban. President Joe Biden is celebrating success but not victory over the inflation cuts announced yesterday. Fox's Jared Halpern reports.
The Federal Reserve's decision to lower interest rates for the first time in more than 4 years is not a declaration of victory, President Biden says, but a declaration of progress.
I'm not here to say we don't have a hell of a lot more work to do. We do have more work to do. But what I am here to speak about is how far we come.
Speaking to the Economic Club of Washington, D.C., President Biden predicted interest rates will go down further. He also warned about damage to the economy if the Federal Reserve loses its independence, saying he has not spoken to the chairman of the Fed since taking office. At the White House, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
The FBI has some more info on Iranian hackers who got access to Donald Trump's campaign.
So we have been raising concerns about Iranian cyber actors attempting to influence elections around the world, including U.S. elections, for some time. It was, of course, disclosures by the United States that brought all of this to light.
State Department spokesperson Matthew Miller of the issue. A former Gary police officer is in some trouble with the law. John Herrick explains why.
The Department of Justice says James Bond enticed and coerced a minor to produce sexually explicit material and send it to him earlier this summer. At the time, the minor was employed by the city of Gary as part of the summer youth employment program. The Gary police chief asked state police to investigate Bond back in July, and that's what got the ball rolling on this. Bond is 52 years old. John Herrick, 93, WIBC Mobile News.
You're 1 minute away from traffic and weather. It's 3:33.
I've been playing sports all my life. Little football, basketball, pickleball, cross training, mud events, Spartan races and things like that.
For Dr. Eric Williams, a successful chiropractor, staying active means everything. So when nagging knee pain slowed him down, he didn't want drugs or invasive surgery. He found a natural way to get lasting relief. QC Kinetics Cellular Therapies.
We're using my body's natural abilities to get better. And that's huge. In time, that's going to be the way of the future. Using your own body's ability to heal. Now I can play day to day and not have that severe pain.
Now he's back out there doing what he loves, thanks to QC Kinetics.
Life is good. You're not going to slow me down.
Leave the pain behind and get moving. Book your free consultation today with QC Kinetics.
Call QC Kinetics, 317-559-PAIN. That's 317-559-PAIN. In Eagle Creek, Greenwood, and Carmel. 317-559-PAIN.
With traffic at 3:34, here's Matt Bear.
Harrison, I'm going from Lebanon, Boone County. And we're looking at northbound 65 right now. North of that, State Road 28. This is a traffic hazard blocking the left lane, causing a 4-mile delay. So it's basically stretching from the county line up to State Road 28, going northbound 65. I'm using US 52 instead. Left lane block at State Road 28. Looking at southbound 65, stop and go 29th to west. And then a crash, Pendleton Pike, south of Post Road. That's a garbage truck into a utility pole. Traffic sponsored by Suburban Indie Home and Outdoor Living Show. The Suburban Indie Home and Outdoor Living Show at Grand Park, featuring over 200 exhibitors, September 20th through the 22nd. Tickets are only $7 at suburbanshows.com. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And the forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
Another hot and dry day today. We'll see mostly sunny skies with highs near 90. Tonight, mainly clear with lows falling to 62. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Tara Hastings for 93 WIBC.
I'm Harrison Silcox on the level on the go and on WIBC.com.
You're listening to the Hammer and Nigel Show.
Oh, yeah! Hello, my name is Nigel. Jason Hammer right over there with a special guest on the hotline.
Monica Crowley, former United States Assistant Secretary of the Treasury with Public Affairs, joins us. Monica, I know it's been a wild 24 hours ever since the Fed made their decision. Before we get into any of the ramifications of that, just give us a little 101 here. For those who aren't real financial savvy, what did that decision yesterday really mean?
Well, this is the first time, and first, guys, thank you so much for having me. This decision yesterday by the Fed to lower interest rates by 50 basis points is very significant. It is the first cutting of interest rates in about 4 years, since March of 2020, when COVID was really starting to hit. That's when the Fed basically eliminated whatever remained of interest rates to get the United States through the most acute period of that crisis. Since then, we've had astronomical inflation. And I don't need to tell you guys or the audience, because all you need to do is go to the grocery store, try to fill up your gas tank, buy clothes for your kids back to school. You see the inflation everywhere. And at its peak in early 2022, inflation was at 9.1%. Since then, the rate of inflation has come down, but that doesn't mean that prices haven't stopped rising. Prices continue to rise. They're just rising at a slower rate. But that apparently was enough for the Fed to say, okay, it looks like we're taming inflation, and therefore we're going to start lowering interest rates. Because the economy now can handle it. The Fed also said that they are more concerned. They've got a dual mandate, keep prices in check, and their target is 2% inflation. We're still well above that at about 2.5, 2.6. Again, that's the rate that prices are rising. And the labor market, ensuring a healthy labor market. Well, it looks like the labor market is starting to slacken. And so what the Fed is saying is, okay, we're not particularly concerned. I mean, they are concerned about prices, but that's not their primary focus now. From now on, they're going to be paying closer attention to the labor market. Unemployment is starting to tick up. You're starting to see layoffs begin to happen. They don't want the economy to slide into a recession. They want to guide it into this elusive soft landing that everybody has been talking about. And so far, the economy has not slid into a technical recession. They want to continue to avoid that. But I have to raise a real warning here. While a rate cut does look like, hey, this is great, everything will be a little bit more affordable, money will be a little bit cheaper, for the Fed to come in this close to an election, there has not been a significant rate cut like this so close to the election since 1992. The Fed is supposed to be independent of politics, et cetera. We all know that all of our institutions are political now, including the Fed. So, yes, it's incurred some political criticism that they're trying to juice the economy before the election. There is quite a lot of lag time for reduced interest rates to really kind of kick in and show up in the broader economy. But a lot of observers are saying that a 50 basis cut, which they did yesterday, was a super cut. It was a gift to Kamala. But also that there's something that the Fed governors see in the economy that is a lot worse than what we're being told. And that they are cutting in such a substantial way because they see that weakness.
That to me, so it's twofold. It could be that they want to help Kamala, which, okay, everybody sees the political side of this, Monica, but they also did a big cut in 2008, I believe, before the global financial markets and the meltdown of the mortgage-backed securities crisis, right? So the other side of that, which you just mentioned, is they see something else looming on the horizon, which also worries me.
Yes, well, that's exactly right. And, a lot of economic observers, including myself, we're taking a look at the fundamentals and really drilling down into some of these fundamentals, and there are signs of weakness there. Now, the American consumer remains very resilient, so we're still shopping, okay? We're still buying stuff, and that is elevating the economy beyond what the fundamentals might indicate, guys. But inflation is still raging, particularly with food prices, but also with energy prices. Winter is coming. To heat your home is going to cost a lot more. So the cost of living remains very high. And we all know once prices go up, they rarely come down, right? So we are in an intractable inflationary period of time, and now you've got slackening in the labor market. There are people who say the recession lights are flashing. Jim Rickard, Stephanie Pomboy, I've talked to the two of them over the last couple of days. And what they have said is it looks like we're heading toward a global recession, which will certainly be an American recession as well. The timing on this, I don't know. And the Fed is trying to guide this plane. But, you know, so much of this is a product of the Fed's own bad decision making. Inflation began the day Joe Biden signed the Inflation Reduction Act, that Orwellian bill, into law in March of 2021. Literally that day, inflation started ticking up. And over the last 3.5 years, this government has pushed $8 trillion down into the system. So you still have all of this money sloshing around, which means inflation's not going anywhere. And if you've got a labor market slowing, and then if the consumer starts to pull back and you get unemployment really ticking up, it's going to be not a pretty picture.
Chatting with Monica Crowley about the Fed rate cut that happened yesterday. So, Monica, tell me some good news here. Like, is there any, light at the end of the tunnel here?
She just laughed at you.
I know, right? She just laughed at me. If there is a change in the White House, if there's a change in the people leading this country, is there any hope that this could be fixed in something of a timely manner?
Yes, I want to give everybody some hope here because it is a relatively grim picture after 3.5 years of Biden-Harris. And they're out of control government spending, and then the monetary policy coming out of the Fed has not been responsible either. But there is hope if we get this election right and we elect President Trump and J.D. Vance, you will have a complete change in economic teams and economic philosophy. And guys, nobody has to guess how Donald Trump is going to bring the U.S. economy back because he's done it not once, but twice before. Once coming in after Obama-Biden, where the economy was very stagnant and you had very limited growth and unemployment was an issue, et cetera. Donald Trump brought the economy back after that through a robust pro-growth economic agenda of tax cuts, regulatory relief, striking fairer trade deals with trading partners like China, Canada, and Mexico, and unleashing our great energy sector, which he said he will do on day one, drill, baby, drill. Energy and the price of energy is built into every single thing you consume, from your bar of soap to your Chipotle to your T-shirt that you're wearing. So when the price of energy goes up, everything goes up. So he built a fantastic, robust economy with strong economic growth, historically low unemployment for every demographic group, and little to no inflation for 4 years. And then when COVID hit, we had the unprecedented economic shutdown. When we started to open up again, all of those growth policies kicked back in, and he delivered a very strong comeback economy to Joe Biden and Kamala Harris in January of 2021. You had over 6% economic growth and inflation at a measly 1.4%. So he brought the economy back twice, and he's going to do it a third time, but we've got to elect him and get him in there.
Monica, if somebody wants to follow you and take a listen to your thoughts on everything happening from an economy standpoint to a political standpoint, where can they go? How can they find you?
Well, thank you so much. Yes, my podcast is called The Monica Crowley Podcast, and you can find it up on Rumble by that name. I've got a great show coming at you today where I break apart the latest polls and everything else and have a great conversation with country music superstar John Rich. So that's today. Please check out the show. And then on the socials, on Instagram, I am at Monica Crowley _ and Twitter and True Social at Monica Crowley.
Monica, we love having you on the show. You break things down in a way very few can, and we appreciate your time.
Oh, I thank you guys so much.
It's the Hammer and Nigel Show.
Up top. Heck
yeah!
Dave's company just got the first ever 5-year price lock guarantee from Comcast Business.
Yeah, 5 years!
It's 5 years of gig speed internet.
High five for gig speed.
5 years of advanced security.
Security win.
And 5 years of a great rate that won't change.
Our rate ain't changing.
All from the company with 99.9% network reliability.
There it is.
He hasn't given this many high fives since Deborah brought in her famous banana bread.
Woohoo!
Now he's got savings.
I'm so excited.
Yep, Dave's feeling it. But it's only for a limited time, so don't wait. Switch today and ask how to get the first ever 5-year price lock guarantee from Comcast Business. Powering 5 years of savings. Powering possibilities. Comcast Business.
And it's hurting, but I am not stopping.
Ends 9/22/24. Guaranteed rate applies to monthly service charge for new customers on qualifying internet bundle, excluding taxes and fees. Other restrictions apply.
Close your eyes and picture it. The warm sun on your face. The sound of waves lapping against the shore. What if I told you that feeling of summer relaxation could be yours all year round? At Howard Bailey Financial, we specialize in retirement planning that lets you embrace that summer state of mind every day. Imagine knowing that your future is secure. With our expert advisors, we'll craft a personalized retirement plan tailored to your dreams. Whether it's traveling the world or pursuing your passions, we'll ensure that your retirement is as carefree and fulfilling as a relaxing summer afternoon. Embrace a summer state of mind and text SUMMER to 888-494-5004 to download our complimentary retirement toolkit and experience your retirement planning with confidence.
This endorsement was not provided by a client of Howard Bailey. This individual was compensated for this endorsement. For more information, visit howardbailey.com/TSY.
Sweet chocolate reward. Sweet chocolate reward.
This is not just the sound of someone picking up a sweet treat at Walgreens. This is the sound of someone picking up a sweet treat right after receiving all their vaccines in one trip. This is the sound of treating yourself, because you protected yourself.
Stop by or schedule both your flu and COVID-19 vaccines today and grab yourself a sweet treat while you're at it. Vaccine subject to availability. State, age, and health-related restrictions may apply.
18 years ago, Tom and Sarah Joyner started Joyner Homes in Greenfield, and to date, they've built hundreds of homes across central Indiana. The homes they build are different than the cookie-cutter houses you see today. They build homes that have the character like the homes of yesterday, but have modern features, character-rich features, exposed wood beams, stone fireplaces, custom build-ins, and smart design. Building a new home doesn't have to be a headache. Joyner Homes will build you a truly unique, beautiful home. Visit joynerhomes.com.
Celebrate a Fun 50s weekend in Grant County, Indiana, September 26th through 29th. Cruise over to the Ducktail Run in Gas City and the James D Run in Fairmount, two of the Midwest's coolest classic car shows. Honor the era of hot cars and cool cats and celebrate where cool was born. Get details at showmegrantcounty.com. Grant County, Indiana, classic cool.
Indiana adventure is near. Come to Grant County this year.
Have you lost Indiana Medicaid? At healthcare.gov, you can find a low-cost, quality health plan.
Do plans cover doctor visits?
What about emergency care?
And prescriptions?
All covered and more. Plus, with the new law, 4 out of 5 customers can find a plan for $10 or less per month with financial help. Healthcare.gov is here for you. Enroll today for coverage starting the 1st of next month. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Chris Wedekin here, owner of Absolute Comfort. Go to AbsoluteComfort.org to lower your monthly bills.
Savings on heating and cooling at Absolute Comfort, your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
There is still time to get a patio this season. Get on the books now for a patio this fall. Indy Decorative Concrete, the patio experts. Changing the way Indy thinks about concrete.
Addiction. It's hard on those who struggle with it, but those who love the addict need support too. Matt Baer and Ryan Hedrick provide help and hope with Supporting Sobriety. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and on WIPC.com.
New podcast is out from the Degenerates Next Door. Myself, Rob Kendall, pro handicapper Kenny Britt, comedian Scott Long. We're talking Colts and Bears. We're talking Cowboys, Ravens. We got prop bets. We got picks. It's all free wherever you get your podcast. It's posted now. It's live, baby. The Degenerates Next Door. Download and subscribe. And Matt Bear, your podcast is doing really well too. And we'll talk about it tomorrow, but I'm so proud of the work that you and Ryan do on supporting sobriety, because I know it's not easy and it's time consuming. I'm learning this process now, but the fact that you guys do such a great job on that every week, hats off.
Well, God bless you, man. Thanks for saying so. We'll talk about it tomorrow. Eastbound 465 stop and go traffic, Westfield Boulevard over to the White River. Inbound 69 slows 96th Street down to 465. Southbound 65 stop and go traffic, MLK to Meridian Penn. Eastbound 70 slowing from Belmont to Meridian, Illinois. And northbound 65, that traffic hazard cleared at State Road 28. Still stop and go traffic back to the Boone-Clinton County line. Traffic sponsored by Indy Decorative Concrete. There is still time to get a patio this fall with Indy Decorative Concrete, the patio experts. No subcontractor is ever big enough to serve, small enough to care. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
88 at the American Standard Cooling Weather Center at 93 WIBC.
You're listening to the Hammer and Nigel Show.
We got a good old-fashioned state feud, Nige. States are feuding with each other.
States are feuding? Okay.
New Jersey against Pennsylvania.
Oh, no.
So New Jersey picked a fight with their neighbor Pennsylvania earlier this week. Some Twitter account asked, if Disneyland is the happiest place on earth, where do you think is the saddest? And some elected official in New Jersey replied with a picture of the state of Pennsylvania.
Okay, that's pretty good.
Well, that didn't go over real well with the fine folks of Pennsylvania.
That's hilarious.
They had some elected officials respond by saying things like, big talk from people who aren't allowed to pump their own gas, because New Jersey, they still have to have workers pump your gas for you.
What?
Some other official said, every time I drive to New Jersey, I cross a bridge that has a toll to get out, but not one to get in. This is another New Jersey official. Quote, you don't have personality like Bruce Springsteen does. You have pork rolls. And last but not least, a council member from Trenton, New Jersey, quote, Pennsylvania sucks. That's why everybody from Jersey flocks to Philly when they want to eat something other than Arby's. So we got a good state feud going on here.
Well, you don't have to drag Arby's into this.
You leave Arby's out of your mouth. Listen, I'm no stranger to picking a feud with the state.
No, you're not.
If you remember, I had a little fight with the state of Alabama, which brings us to great moments in picking fights with states' history. Let's do some Alabama jokes. Big Nige, what is 20 feet long and has 5 teeth?
What's that?
The line for the outhouse at a Tuscaloosa truck stop. Big Nige, what does the average Alabama high school student get on his SATs?
What's that?
Drool. What do you call an Alabama girl who can run faster than her brothers?
What's that?
A virgin. An Auburn fan and an Alabama fan were driving along the road when all of a sudden the Auburn fan slammed on the brakes. There was a sheep with its head stuck in the fence. And the Auburn fan said, I'm an Auburn Tigers fan. I never pass up an opportunity like this. So he gets out of his truck, walks over to the fence, and makes love to the sheep.
Oh my gosh.
And then he looks over to the Alabama fan and says, okay, it's your turn. The Alabama fan says, I know where this is going, and sticks his head in the fence. Good old-fashioned Alabama jokes.
Lord, that last one.
Top stories next.
After college, Mike Braun could have gone anywhere. He chose to move back to his hometown of Jasper, Indiana. There, he started a small business, kept his head down, worked hard, and turned his small business into a national company, employing thousands of Hoosiers. He'll use that same determination for us. Lead the charge on lowering the price of gas, groceries, energy. Take on the big healthcare companies to increase healthcare access and lower costs. And Mike will improve education across our state by increasing school choice. Mike will make our streets safer, back the blue, and stop illegal immigration if the federal government won't. Because Braun believes every Hoosier should be safe and secure in their community. As governor, Braun will continue working for Hoosiers. Because when you're Mike, working hard is just what you do. Mike Braun, governor. Paid for by Mike Braun for Indiana.
Did you know that the Social Security Trust Fund is expected to run out of money in less than 10 years? In less than a decade. And according to Barron's, an average income couple could lose up to $16,500 every year in Social Security income. You multiply that by 10 or 20 years, man, you can be hundreds of thousands of dollars out of it. So why is this so critical? It's because you have a right to all that money. Bill Demery can help.
I mean, let's be honest. This is some complicated stuff here. But Bill Demery will let you know how you could get every nickel that's rightfully yours with a free custom Social Security analysis. Bill Demery, your retirement guy. If you've saved more than $200,000 and have not yet filed for Social Security, call Bill Demery today, 317-648-5120. That's 317-648-5120. 317-648-5120. Bill Demery, your retirement guy.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
Uline is here for the hard workers, for the ones rolling up their sleeves, working round the clock, and getting the job done. You're dedicated to doing what it takes to keep a business growing. Uline is dedicated to helping you make that happen. Working 7 days a week, staying fully stocked and ready to ship any of our 41,000 items the same day. Uline, your shipping and industrial supply specialists. Visit uline.com.
Sebastian Maniscalco.
Now, is this a family? Is this your mother? Where is she? Is she in the crowd? The mom's up there. What kind of family is this? I'm sorry.
It Ain't Right Tour 2025.
The poor mother is in the balcony, and the kids are down here with the father and his gumad. If this was the 80s, the kids would have been up there, and the parents would have been down here.
Sebastian Maniscalco, live on stage in Indianapolis. Gainbridge Fieldhouse, February 16th. Get tickets this Friday at 10 a.m. at Ticketmaster.com.
At Shane Company, we'll help you create a ring as unique as your love story. We have the biggest selection of diamonds in all shapes and sizes, and center stones in an array of colors, including sapphires in blue, pink, green, lavender, and more. Just the other day, a couple picked out a blue sapphire that perfectly matched her eyes, and they left knowing her ring was truly one of a kind. That's what happens at Shane Company. Come check us out. You might just fall in love with something unexpected. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
You want to listen all day to WIBC, but you don't always have time. Don't worry. There's a podcast for that. The WIBC Mashup. Daily highlights from your favorite hosts, Tony Katz, Kendall and Casey, and Hammer and Nigel. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
Coming up in 2 minutes, several students arrested this week for threatening schools in Indiana, drought conditions in the state, and the risk for fires that comes with it. And the Indiana Fever are looking forward to their return to the playoffs. It's been a while. That's all coming up after Fox News Radio from the Technology Recycler Studios. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 4 o'clock.
They're still pushing for a ceasefire in Gaza. Lisa Brady, Fox News. As Israel and Hezbollah attack each other, White House spokeswoman Karine Jean-Pierre says a deal between Israel and Hamas would lower the temperature in the region.
We still believe a diplomatic resolution is the way forward here. We still believe that it is possible, and obviously the urgency continues to be that.
But she's not confirming any new ceasefire proposal or any plan for President Biden to meet with Israel's prime minister during the UN General Assembly in New York. The leader of Hezbollah says Israel crossed a red line after sabotaged pagers and phones used by militants exploded this week in Lebanon, killing more than 30 people, wounding thousands. Former President Trump will be part of an event on fighting anti-Semitism later today, then speak to the Israeli-American Council's National Summit in Washington. President Biden says the Fed's decision to start lowering interest rates is a declaration of progress in the inflation fight.
It's a moment for individuals to feel greater confidence buying a home, a new car, starting a family, starting a new business.
Speaking to the Economic Club of Washington, the president also criticizing his predecessor's economic record, while voters continue to favor Trump on the economy by 5 points in a new Fox News poll. A day after the Fed rate cut, new highs on Wall Street. The Dow up 522 points at the bell, topping 42,000 for the first time today and closing above it. A 76-year-old man in Alaska is accused of threatening the U.S. Supreme Court.
More than 450 messages allegedly sent via an online portal to 6 unnamed Supreme Court justices using homophobic language, racist language, and other threatening language.
Fox's David Spunt, the suspect is charged with multiple threat counts and could spend the rest of his life in prison if convicted. America is listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Threats toward Indiana schools. Mostly sunny, 88 degrees in downtown Indianapolis. A check of the radar comes up clear. Tonight's low down to about 60. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 4:02. What school leaders in central Indiana thought was a suspicious threat turned out to be nothing of the sort. Ryan Hedrick has the details.
The Morgan County Sheriff's Office says they were training at Mooresville High School and left something behind. What that something was, they're not saying. Someone spotted this item and the school issued an alert, which caused a small panic and brought on an e-learning day. Statewide, more than 20 Hoosier kids have been arrested this week in cases involving threats to schools. Ryan Hedrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
With dry weather and drought conditions going on in Indiana, the threat for fires happening has gone up.
The good thing is the winds aren't super strong, so that'll keep significant fire spread, but it's enough, even with the dry conditions, to where that's a concern that the fires could get out of control.
Randy Bowers with the National Weather Service says it's best if you just don't burn anything outside. There could be a little bit of rain this weekend, but not really enough to make a difference with the droughts. 1-to-1 net metering. It credits you for excess electricity sent to the grid at the same rate you pay and supports renewable energy and reduces bills. It's all part of a plan from Indiana Democratic candidate Jennifer McCormick.
When I bring it up, there are a lot of claps. So, there are just certain topics where it's interesting across the state. When you get that same reaction, it says something. So that net metering is huge.
Her plan also suggests adding ratepayer advocates to the IURC to ensure fair competition, as if utilities weren't protected. Indiana Fever guard Kelsey Mitchell says it's been a long journey for the team to make it back to the WNBA playoffs, and she's grown as a leader along the way.
Kind of get to see where you're at. I think they love me out as far as where I'm truly am as a player, and I think that hopefully that everything I've been through as far as the training, the preparation is going to prepare me for this playoff run.
The Fever will end their regular season tonight against the Washington Mystics. Playoffs start on Sunday. Traffic and weather in 1 minute. It's 4:04.
It's common knowledge that after age 30, our metabolism changes. We have less energy and gain weight easier. There's a way to feel better, not in years or months, but sometimes in just days.
I'm Chuck Norris. I tried everything. Working with a team of health experts, we came up with Morning Kick. Morning Kick is a revolutionary new formula that combines all my favorite supplements into one daily drink.
Morning Kick has probiotics to help you lose weight, prebiotics for digestion, superfoods for muscles and joints, and powerful anti-aging supplements. It'll help you feel youthful, energized, and helps manage stress.
I look and feel better than I have in years.
Go to roundhouseprovisions.com, use code EASY, or text EASY to 511-511 and claim 40% off. Roundhouseprovisions.com, code EASY.
Every purchase comes with our 90-day money-back guarantee. You could be feeling these changes within just a couple of days.
Text EASY to 511-511.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Tax fees may apply.
With traffic on the 5s at 4:05, here's Matt Bear.
All right, Harrison, northwest of Sign, crash on the entrance ramp from 86th Street to southbound 465. That ramp is open. Just be careful making your entrance. Eastbound 465, stop and go traffic. Westfield Boulevard, past the White River. Inbound 65, a grind MLK to Meridian Pettit. Eastbound 70, slow rolling parts from Tibbs Avenue into the south split. East side, northbound 465, dragging it in from 70 up to east of 75th. In a crash, this is Pendleton Pike, south of Post Road. That's a garbage truck into a utility pole. Traffic sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Progressive Insurance offers you auto, home, and commercial auto insurance, plus a variety of business insurance options. Visit progressive.com today. That's progressive.com. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And the forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
Another hot and dry day today. We'll see mostly sunny skies with highs near 90. Tonight, mainly clear with lows falling to 62. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Tara Hastings for 93 WIBC.
I'm Harrison Silcox on the level on the go and on WIBC.com.
Hammer and Nigel.
Can you believe these characters are weirdos?
So let's rock it!
Hammer, some new polling showing Trump has a slim lead in the great state of Pennsylvania, which would be a swing state, which Donald Trump absolutely needs to win the presidency, the election coming up here in just a few weeks.
So, again, I don't care about the national polling. I want to see what individual state polling says, and then I want to compare it to previous presidential election years. I think if you do that, you're going to kind of get a good feel of the direction where things might go. Okay, so here's what I'm talking about. On this date, in previous years in Pennsylvania, in 2016, Hillary Clinton had a 6.2% lead. And this is an aggregate of all the polling, okay? Not just one outlier poll like the Democrats like to use here in Indiana. This is the average of all of the polling. Back in 16, Hillary Clinton led on this date by 6.2%. And then Donald Trump won that state by 1%. Okay, so that's a pretty big difference. 2020, on this date, Joe Biden led by 4%. He ended up winning it by just 1.3%. So if you're telling me now that Donald Trump is up 1% in Pennsylvania, the way these polls have been in the past, that should be good news to Donald Trump.
Should be.
I mean, they were off by 7% in 2016 and then 5%, 5.5% in 2020.
Yeah, in 2020, there was some shenanigans with the laws there and the way people were all of a sudden allowed to vote without, kind of circumventing the legislature there.
Right.
Oh, but we'll look past all that, right?
As our colleague Rob Kendall would say, some creative jelly bean counting.
Sure.
And we'll talk to Rob coming up a little bit later as he goes off the rails. Now, other interesting parts of this poll came out. And it wasn't just who are you going to vote for. It was about why do you want to vote, the important issues. Now, according to this new poll from Scripps and Ipsos, the majority of Americans support mass deportation of illegals. Now, this is both Republicans and Democrats. Scripps Ipsos say that the number of Americans that strongly or somewhat support this policy is at 54%. 86% of them are Republicans, 25% Democrats, but 58% of independents.
Ooh.
Now, that's the big number there. 58% of independent voters, or those who consider themselves independent, say, yeah, if you came into this country illegally, let's get ICE going again and send them back to their home country.
Well, I mean, are there people in this country that really don't know who they're going to vote for here in a couple of weeks?
I had this conversation with Tony Kennett last week. He seems to think that there's not. Like, a lot of people say they're independent because they don't want to get labeled, oh, you're some sort of leftist lunatic, or you're a MAGA hat-wearing conservative. They just tell people they're independent because they want to be left alone. But I don't think many people are undecided. Why would you be undecided? One guy's already been the president. You kind of know his body of work. And the other one's the current vice president. It's not like it's, some contest winner who's coming up through the ranks here. So yeah, the undecided voter has always been a little weird to me. Can I just mention how much I love the fact that terrorists had their cranks blown off the other day? Like, I think this is such an amazing thing. It's some James Bond type stuff here, right? Some Jason Bourne stuff.
Where some Mossad type stuff out of the movie Munich from Steven Spielberg. I mean, this is something that it was breaking during our show a couple days ago, correct?
Right.
All the pagers that were rigged with explosives that Hezbollah was using in Lebanon decided to just explode all at once in the pants pockets of the Iranian proxy terrorist group Hezbollah.
And a lot of them had severe genital damage.
A lot of deaths.
And then the next day, the walkie-talkies blew up. So here's Hezbollah thinking they're trying to be cute. All right, we're not going to use cell phones. We know you can track those.
They're tracking our cell phones. We got to get some pagers.
So they get these pagers, they get these walkie-talkies from the black market. But guess what? The Iranians somehow were the ones that supplied them with all of these. And
there was some shell corporation somewhere, some company, some guy somewhere said, yeah, I can get you some pagers. Oh, yeah, I can get some walkie-talkies. You don't have to worry about these tracking them on your cell phones anymore. It's really out of some fantasy spy novel.
And this is real life stuff. Like, if I'm a Hezbollah terrorist or a Hamas terrorist, I'm walking on eggshells right now. Like, every time I start my car, every time I get on my laptop, like, are you waiting to hear the boom? But now the Hezbollah leader, who addressed his nation earlier today, says that those attacks were an act of war by Israel.
That's pretty rich.
The terrorist organization said that was an act of war.
The organization that had a hand in mutilating and killing thousands of innocent Israelis a little over a month. I think we're creeping up on a year now. The same organization's been lobbing missiles nonstop since the day after that terrorist attack by Hamas, is now saying Israel committed an act of war. It's really embarrassing for the head of Hezbollah, by the way. That's an embarrassing all the way around. What a horrible failure. Somebody's getting their head cut off within that organization.
Or their junk blown up like we've seen the last couple of days. Because those pagers were in their pants. Some of the walkie-talkies, they were in their pocket. And when they blew up, you got Big Jim over here, a couple twins over here, and some poor janitor had to sweep that up and clean it up.
What's next? I mean, how are they going to communicate now? Smoke signals?
Tin can? I don't know.
Drums? Rotary phones?
This is like some real psychological warfare going on here. Because again, if you're somebody that's a Hezbollah terrorist, you got to think everything around you is going to blow up at some point now, after what you've seen the last couple of days.
You can't even, if you're a terrorist, you can't even use a rotary phone with a cord. I mean, again, I referenced the movie Munich from Steven Spielberg, and about how Mossad got their revenge on the terrorists that killed the Olympic athletes. They were using rotary phones back in the day to kill their enemies. Crazy.
Can I do a good old-fashioned CSI joke about that? Would it be in poor taste if I did a CSI joke about these terrorist a-holes having their stuff blown off?
How dare you?
Okay, I think I'm giving the thumbs up here. All right. CSI joke about what's happening right now with the pagers and the walkie-talkies. Hezbollah, more like Hezballless.
Oh, boy.
Oh, that's a good joke. Come on. I got nothing out of that. Nothing.
You got the CSI scream. That's good enough.
I got a good, witty pun about bad guys losing their junk, and I get nothing.
Hezballahs.
Thank you. Man, tough crowd in here. Matt Bear, You enjoyed that, right?
I thought it was funny.
Thank you.
There you go.
Somebody's got a sense of humor in this room. Good God.
As long as you got Matt Baer's affirmation, you don't need anybody else.
You're damn right.
You don't need mine. You don't need Allison's.
Yeah, the CSI thing, too. I love that part. Looking at eastbound 70 stop-and-go traffic from Holt Road into the South Split. Inbound 65 stop-and-go before MLK to the north split, and a crash on the northwest side. Southbound 465 at West 86th Street. That is a crash on the entrance ramp going for 86th to southbound of 465. Ramp is open. It is partially blocked. Traffic sponsored by Indy Decorative Concrete. Indy Decorative Concrete, the stamped concrete experts. There's still time for a patio. Have them out for a free estimate. They'll match any competitor's bid on stamped concrete. Visit IndyDecorativeConcrete.com. I'm Matt Baer with traffic on the 5s. Follow us at WIBC Traffic.
See, Brad on the YouTube chat, it was good. Kathleen, not bad.
Okay.
But then there's Steve.
Uh-oh.
You know what they say about puns? The lowest form of comedy.
Oh, wow.
Steve, the
Lord.
Hezbollah supporter, apparently. Hey, if you want to jump in the YouTube chat and agree or fight with these folks, do it right now, but just hit that like button. We have to get over 100 likes on our YouTube stream.
There's a great meme with Obi-Wan Kenobi. You remember that scene in Star Wars where they the Empire destroyed Alderaan?
Yes.
And then Obi-Wan Kenobi had to sit down, but it's just this his face. It goes, it's as if thousands of terrorist voices cried out and were suddenly silenced.
I like it. I like it. All right, so again, the YouTube page. Go to YouTube, look for WIBC's page. They're streaming this little pony show that we do, and hit like. We've got to get over 100 likes. Coming up next, it's America's fastest-growing game sensation. Is This Anything? Come on back.
Man, do I love the new patio furniture I received from Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus. Free delivery, by the way. We've been spending a lot of time on that patio furniture. It's gorgeous out of my front porch. They still have their Made in the USA Labor Day sale going on, by the way. Lazy Boys starting at $3.99. Queen mattresses starting at $3.99. Sofas, $4.99. Interest-free financing available. We're talking, did I mention free delivery? Of course. Plus the low price guarantee on Tempur-Pedic mattresses. Another item which I've received from Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus.
I love these guys. Our listeners love these guys. I love it when I get pictures from Thompson Furniture and Mattress of Hammer and Nigel customers down there. And when I talk to our listeners, they get treated like rock stars. Thompson Furniture and Mattress, free delivery and setup. If you live within 75 miles of their store, owned and operated by the same family since 1927, they support us at Hammer and Nigel Show. Support these guys. ThompsonFurniture.net. Tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you.
Did you know you can now use your own body's healing properties to revitalize your achy joints and get you real lasting pain relief? Tony Katz here. We're talking about QC Kinetics, advanced regenerative medicine. If you're tired of arthritic pain in your knees, your hips, your back, your shoulder, this is something you need to check out. Everybody's talking about regenerative medicine, and the local medical professionals at QC Kinetics are experts in these amazing treatments. You can enhance your joints, improve mobility, and get back to doing the stuff you love without pain and without drugs or surgery or downtime. Under the leadership of Medical Director Dr. Mitchell Scheinkup, QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in this exciting breakthrough using cellular therapies. The consultation is totally free, so call now. Take action to get lasting joint pain relief with help from QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics in Eagle Creek, Greenwood, and Carmel. Call 317-559-PAIN. 317-559-PAIN. QC Kinetics, Eagle Creek, Greenwood, and Carmel. 317-559-PAIN.
Are you worried about your taxes? Okay, so I'm talking to those of you out there that have not filed in a few years with the IRS or state. It's time to get worried, and here's why. The IRS is getting back from their own COVID lockdown, and they're hiring more enforcers, and they're going to come after people that owe taxes. So if you're a 1099 worker, and maybe you just plain forgot to file your taxes, you need to call the professionals right now at the Tax Helpline. They are experts at knowing the tax regulations evaluations, and their goal is to help you pay as little as possible. Call right now and get a 100% free tax evaluation. Remember, before the IRS knocks on your door, knock on our door. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes, make this free call right now.
Call Texas 321 now at 800-808-9443. 800-808-9443. That's 800-808-9443.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline Nasal Spray.
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
Is your pet a digging enthusiast, an escape artist, or a counter surfer? Invisible Fence brand has you covered. For the wannabe landscaper, we've got a solution to keep them active but not destructive. For the escape artist, our personalized pet fences keep them safe and sound at home. Counter surfer? No problem. We know how to keep cheese thieves at bay. Invisible Fence brand. Tailor-made solutions for your pet, your yard, and your needs. Visit invisiblefence.com today.
This hour on 93 WIBC is powered by Absolute Comfort, your American Standard air dealer serving Central Indiana.
Hammer and Nigel presents
It depends upon what the meaning of the word is.
Is this anything?
All right, let's rock and roll.
More like Hezbollah. Thank you.
Now that you say it a second time, it's grown on me a little bit.
Is this anything?
It's ballless.
A man in Florida got trapped inside of a Corvette when he was trying to steal it. That's when the owner caught him and called the police. Here's the moment that Julio found the would-be thief inside of his Corvette and him talking about why the idiot got trapped.
My brother, this is not your car. This is my car. But why are you in my car? No, you can't get out because we calling the cops.
Was able to break in the car, but that particular Corvette, if you're in the car and you don't have the keys, none of the electrical components will function. But little did he know that there's a manual door handle underneath the seat that, thank God he didn't know. Just be alert. You know, when you're getting in and out of your car, be vigilant, be alert of your surroundings.
I don't know. I feel like it should be a little bit easier to get out of your car, even if you lock yourself in. Don't you? Of course, if you're the owner of the car, you know, if you're the owner of the Corvette, you know where that secret little handle is. You're able to get out.
Sure.
I don't know. I'm glad they caught the guy.
Like, do you subscribe to those neighborhood notification things like Citizens app
I do
you know, whatever? So I'm on Citizens. Every once in a while, you'll get a report of somebody stranded in their car. And it always just kind of makes me wonder, is this just some idiot that can't figure out how to get out? Is this a bad guy that is stranded in there, or somebody drunk or on drugs that can't figure out the process?
Or maybe it's just they meant that somebody's broken down on the side of the road. And they're
stranded in their car. Like, that's a weird way to put it.
Man, have you ever driven a Corvette before?
No.
I've never. My old man had one when I was 18 or 19, right? And I was driving back from Brownsburg to Lisbon with my buddy Jimmy, and this guy wanted to race me, and I'm too much of a chicken bleep. And my buddy Jimmy's like, "Come on, let's go." We're on 74 West, and man, I got up to 100, and I don't know what this other guy was going, but I was scared to death. And not only because I was going like 100 miles an hour, I'd never gone that fast, but because it was so smooth. I couldn't even tell I could have been going 30, if not 100.
Right.
And that's what kind of scared me about those vehicles. And then I saw my life flash before my eyes, and I slammed on the brakes, and the guy just went driving past me. And of course, my buddy's calling me the P word that rhymes with wussy. We're driving a Corvette. Come on, man.
You've got the blinker on, you're the slow lane, two hands on the wheel.
Yeah. That's my only experience with a vet.
Is this anything? It's well known that cats hate getting baths. If you are a cat owner, you know that they don't like it when you try to give them a bath. A pet groomer recorded a video of what they feel is the world's angriest cat getting a bath.
I've seen it.
Here's a supercut of taking it out of the cage, washing it, rinsing, drying, and getting it back in the cage. Good God.
Now, let me ask you something. Is that a form of, I mean, you got to wash your cat, right? I'm watching it right now, by the way. The cat's nuts. It's insane. I don't know whether or not we have an indoor cat. It's only been outside a handful of times because it's escaped. We've never given it a bath. Should I give it that for cat owners? Should I give my indoor cat a bath?
Have you ever wiped it down, maybe?
I mean, it's got its own tongue for that. But man,
there's a number of jokes we could make there, but we'll take the high road.
But this cat is insane, crazy nuts. And he's being watched by a professional. Like they took the cat to some sort of professional, I don't know what you call it.
Groomer.
Yes, a groomer. And it's scratching. It's going crazy.
All right. Now, Allison, I want you to have that clip standing by again. Now, close your eyes, okay? Imagine you're backstage at The View, and somebody has just stolen Joy Behar's bag of candy. That's what it would sound like. That's 100% what it would sound like.
Oh, man, that is scary. But I want to know from cat owners who have indoor cats. I've never given my cat a bath before. I never even tried.
Allison?
You do not, actually. Growing up, I was told by the vet, cats clean themselves.
Yeah, tongue.
Nigel was right.
Yeah.
You got a tongue, take care of business.
Okay.
We've given our indoor cat, one, but we have some of these wipes that we use from time to time just to kind of wipe him down.
That's a good compromise.
Well, this guy was trying to, this guy had it in like a professional tub where he's trying to hold it down, and the cat was just, it was possessed by Satan himself.
Man.
That's my impression of him.
It sounded like the Tasmanian devil. Like if you would have told me that was the Looney Tunes Tasmanian devil, that would have been spot on. Well done. Last one. Is this anything? The former First Lady, Melania Trump, took to social media yesterday to defend her past as a nude model.
Why do I stand proudly behind my nude modeling work? The more pressing question is, why has the media chosen to scrutinize my celebration of the human form in a fashion photo shoot? Are we no longer able to appreciate the beauty of the human body? Throughout history, master artists have revered the human shape, evoking profound emotions and admiration. We should honor our bodies and embrace the timeless tradition of using art as a powerful means of self-expression.
Yeah, if you're allowed to appreciate and say, who's the fat rapper, the girl?
Oh, Lizzo.
I didn't know if I was going to have to be more specific than that.
Lizzo.
If you're going to be allowed to clap and celebrate and appreciate Lizzo and all her beauty, then I think we can. I don't think there's criticism warranted of Melania Trump back when she was doing nude photos. When I type that here in at work, Melania Trump nudes, I get blocked.
Really?
It's a shame. I'm going to have to talk to somebody about that.
Go on somebody else's computer and try. Really get specific on what you're looking for. Go in the back and get on Rob Kendall's computer.
Okay.
Get onto Google.
Oh, whoops.
Did you find one?
Yep, and I don't think that's it, and I think I could get in trouble for what I just saw. Ooh.
And on that note, we'll take a time out.
That wasn't it.
This is the Hammer and Nigel Show.
High five. Up top. Heck
yeah.
Dave's company just got the first ever 5-year price lock guarantee from Comcast Business.
Yeah, 5 years.
It's 5 years of gig speed internet.
High five for gig speed.
5 years of advanced security.
Security win.
And 5 years of a great rate that won't change.
Our rate ain't changing.
All from the company with 99.9% network reliability.
There it is.
He hasn't given this many high fives since Deborah brought in her famous banana bread.
Woohoo!
Now he's got savings.
I'm so excited.
Yep, Dave's feeling it. But it's only for a limited time, so don't wait. Switch today and ask how to get the first ever 5-year price lock guarantee from Comcast Business. Powering 5 years of savings. Powering possibilities. Comcast Business.
And it's hurting, but I am not stopping.
Ends 9/22/24. Guaranteed rate applies to monthly service charge for new customers on qualifying internet bundle, excluding taxes and fees. Other restrictions apply.
Hey, Bill, where you been? You're overdue for a haircut.
Man, listen, my water pipes burst and flooded my house. Place a mess. I've been staying with my daughter till I can figure out what to do.
You trying to fix it and move back in?
No way. It's too big a mess. It'll cost me tens of thousands of dollars. I ain't got that kind of money.
You trying to sell it then?
Well, that's what I'd like to do, but who's going to buy my house in this condition?
Did you call Simple Quarters?
Simple Quarters?
Simple Quarters bought our house when we were in a jam. We needed to move real quick. They closed fast and gave us cash.
Simple Quarters will buy in any condition?
That's right. They buy as is. You don't have to repair anything or clean anything out. It's simple.
What do I have to do?
Just call them. They'll do a quick walkthrough, then they'll make you an offer.
Simple Quarters is a local Christian company that loves to help people in difficult situations. Call Simple Quarters at 317-900-HOME. That's 317-900-HOME. Check us out at simplequarters.com.
Point.
Hey, you okay? You don't normally miss those shots.
I just haven't been as regular lately, and it's making me feel sluggish.
You should try Metamucil. It's been a game changer for me. Metamucil's plant-based psyllium fiber helps trap and remove the waste that weighs you down.
Ace.
You're moving better than you were last week.
Definitely.
Metamucil keeps you moving. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Learn more at metamucil.com.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level. On the go.
The problems you get from a drought. 88 degrees, mostly sunny in downtown Indianapolis. Your radar's clear, low of 60 tonight. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 4:32. There are 92 counties in Indiana, more than half currently under a burn ban.
Conditions are so dry, and that's kind of where we're in this situation where it's not the best idea to burn.
Randy Bowers with the National Weather Service says most of the state is under a moderate drought. There's only a chance for some light rain when you look at the weekend, so not much help in the way. After the Fed's decision to lower interest rates, President Joe Biden explained what that means for you during a speech at the Economic Club in D.C. today.
Fed lowering interest rates isn't a declaration of victory. It's a declaration of progress. It's a signal we've entered a new phase of our economy and our recovery.
The Fed's choice to cut interest rates by half a percentage point was their first rate cut since March, all the way back in 2020. A former Gary police officer is in trouble with the law. John Herrick tells you why.
The Department of Justice says James Bond enticed and coerced a minor to produce sexually explicit material and send it to him earlier this summer. At the time, the minor was employed by the city of Gary as part of the summer youth employment program. The Gary police chief asked state police to investigate Bond back in July, and that's what got the ball rolling on this. Bond is 52 years old. John Herrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Hoosiers are concerned about their quickly rising utility bills. So says Indiana Democratic candidate for governor Jennifer McCormick. Thursday, she released a 4-point plan to address the problem.
It's not just homeowners. I'm also hearing it from business because it impacts everybody. I know some of our school leaders are talking about the impact they've had in utility costs that are just outrageous, and they're trying to keep the lights on.
McCormick says her plan would stop utilities from using ratepayer money for lobbying, advertising, trade dues, or political contributions to prevent misuse of funds meant for services. And a good day to bounce back in the market today. The Dow was up by 522 to 42,025. The Nasdaq increasing by 440 to 18,013. And the S&P 500 also up by 95 points, closing at 5,713. Traffic and weather in 60 seconds. It's 4:34.
Cindy Carrasco has spent a career holding the powerful accountable.
As Indiana's Inspector General and Director of the State Ethics Commission, Cindy fought waste, fraud, and abuse wherever she found it. Cindy also combated wrongdoing in state government, which meant standing up and doing the right thing even if it wasn't popular. Now, as our state senator, Cindy Carrasco continues to fight on behalf of all Hoosiers by improving the quality of our children's education, providing tax relief for everyone, and working to make our communities safe by getting law enforcement the resources they need to fight crime, violence, and keep fentanyl away from our families. It's why Cindy has been endorsed by the Indiana Fraternal Order of Police, State Police Alliance, and the Professional Firefighters of Indiana. Because they know that Cindy has their back, and we know she has ours. Vote for more government transparency, better schools, lower taxes, and safer streets. Vote Cindy Carrasco for State Senate.
Paid for by Cindy for Senate.
With traffic at 435, here's Matt Baer.
All right, Harrison, looking at northbound 65, heading towards Pike Township. This is a stall blocking the center lane, and right now traffic is jammed up back to Lafayette Road. After that, continuing on northbound 65 after the I-65 interchange, just a couple of miles up the road here. We do have a crash. Left lane is closed. That has a slow back to I-65, so a couple of problems if you're going from downtown, say, up to Lebanon here this evening. We are also looking at a vehicle fire. It's Keystone Avenue at East 56th Street, inbound 65 to the north split stop and go from MLK. Eastbound 70 to the south split stop and go from Tibbs Avenue. Traffic sponsored by Suburban Indie Home and Outdoor Living Show. The Suburban Indie Home and Outdoor Living Show at Grand Park, featuring over 200 exhibitors September 20th through the 22nd. Tickets are only $7 at suburbanindieshows.com. I'm Matt Baer. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
Thank you, Matt. And here's your forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
Another hot and dry day today. We'll see mostly sunny skies with highs near 90. Tonight, mainly clear with lows falling to 62. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Tara Hastings for 93 WIBC.
I'm Harrison Silcox on The Level on the Go and on WIBC.com.
This is how we do it.
You're listening to the Hammer and Nigel Show.
Hello, my name is Nigel. Hammer right over there with a special guest on the hotline.
Very few people cover the world of sports and news and politics and pop culture better than our pal Dan Zaksheske of Outkick. He wants everybody to know he's the most important Dan that works at Outkick. What's up, man? How you doing?
Jason, I got to tell you, man, these intros, it's a bit too much. You set the bar too high. I'm a big, over-deliver, under-expectation kind of guy. This is too much buildup.
You've got an article out now at Outkick.com about this guy that went to an Arizona Cardinals football game and had a Donald Trump MAGA hat on. What happened then?
It was actually a woman who was wearing the hat. She was with her husband. They are season ticket holders. So she tried to get into the game, and she said that out of nowhere, she kind of heard someone say, "Hey, you got to take that hat off." And thinking that the person was kind of joking or whatever, she just went about her business until realizing, like, oh, this is a security guard at State Farm Stadium. So a security guard said, you can't wear that hat. You can't have any political messaging. You got to take it off. And the woman said after the fact that, she didn't want to, but eventually she just sort of said, okay, fine. I'll take it off because there's, like I said, they're season ticket holders. She said, my husband will kill me if I screw up our season ticket. So didn't want to deal with any of that. She ends up taking the hat off. She talked to someone in guest service because remember, in this situation, the security guard is not employed by the team and they're not even employed by the stadium. It's a third-party company that's contracted to do security at State Farm Stadium in Arizona. So nothing to do with the team or the league or anything like that. But this woman said she went to a guest services booth and said, hey, I was told to take this hat off. Is this true? And the guest services rep said, yes, you cannot have political messaging. Okay. So the woman kind of went about her business. They watched the game, whatever. Obviously a great game for Cardinals fans. They destroyed the Rams. Come to find out later, the Arizona Cardinals apologized to the woman. They released a statement because the local station that interviewed this woman said, hey, is this true? I mean, are people really not allowed to wear MAGA hats into games? And the Cardinals team said, well, actually, it looks like the security guard misinterpreted the rule. The Cardinals apparently do have some kind of a vague rule about political statements, but it mostly applies to things like banners and flags, things that you hold up, and that she should have been allowed to wear her MAGA hat, and they won't. They will allow them moving forward. So there you go.
Yeah, but, and Dan, the simple fact is that if this same person would have been wearing a Harris Walls 2024 hat, nobody would have said anything. And I mean, that's pretty much, I mean, I know that's low-hanging fruit, but the fact that it was a MAGA hat is all that this is, really, right?
Well, yes. I mean, probably. Obviously, we don't know for sure. But, I mean, you know, MAGA hats tend to draw a little more emotion out of people, as much as they like to say, like, oh, Kamala really gets people. Like, no, not really. It's either you're voting for Donald. This is exactly the same as 2020. You're not voting for Donald Trump or Kamala Harris. You're either voting for Donald Trump or you're voting against Donald Trump. That's the platform the Democrats have basically been running on for now 3 elections. So that's where we are.
And I love the NFL tries to play the no political statements card. And then you walk in, you sit in your seats, and you see Black Lives Matter. You see all these other things either on the field, on the back of the helmets, on cleats. It seems a little disingenuous to get a lecture from the NFL about that kind of stuff.
I would agree, but it does show a little bit of movement towards the light. I think they saw what happened, you know, with the Kaepernick stuff, and it really hurt their bottom line. And I think they really did want to get ahead of this and be like, no, that's fine. MAGA hats, all good. We're good. We welcome everybody.
Dan Zaksheske is our guest of Outkick. Since the last time we spoke, somebody tried to kill Donald Trump again. This is the second assassination attempt on the former president. What do you think about this situation right now? Like, somebody has got to be to blame here. Is it Secret Service? Is, you know, the rhetoric from the national media when they keep calling him Hitler and a threat to democracy? Like, who do you think is the most responsible for all of these threats against the former president?
Yeah, I definitely think it has to do with the messaging from both the political left and the media that supports them. You keep telling people over and over again that someone's Hitler. Well, it would be wrong not to try and kill Hitler, right? Like, if people knew who Hitler was before he was Hitler and someone killed him, like, they would be the biggest hero in possibly human history. So what are you supposed to do? I actually don't blame these people at all, though they're probably crazy. And, you know, anybody with a rational working brain understands that Donald Trump is not Adolf Hitler. People go like, oh, when he gets office, he's going to do whatever. How do we know he's not going to become a dictator? Well, because he was president for 4 years and he didn't. I mean, what more information do you need to know than we've already been through this? We've already seen this story told. He left office. It's maddening, guys.
Yeah.
It really is.
The other aspect of this, Dan, is that the Secret Service, I mean, this is twice now that guns have been fired either towards Donald Trump in his direction, hitting him in the head. But by the grace of God, he moved his head just ever so slightly. It didn't kill him. And then more gunfire, a couple holes away in front of him on the golf course. And these guys, and it's not getting covered in media. I feel like these guys that were firing these shots weren't exactly Jason Bourne and Rambo. Like, these are doofuses, I feel like, that got close to the president. What if it was somebody who actually knew what they were doing and had some sort of military training and was either insane or was hired by an enemy country that got close to the president? That's what worries me here, is that these guys got so close to former President Trump and they weren't really even trained at all in whatever they were trying to do.
Well, the bigger issue, I think, just in general, I'm not a security expert or anything like that, so I won't speak on it. But what does worry me more than anything else isn't just the health and life of Donald Trump per se, but if he does get killed, I would be scared for what would happen next. I mean, they make it seem like it would just be like, oh, former, like, no. You got to understand how popular Donald Trump is and how people will go to. If he gets killed, first of all, it's going to be assumed that it was some sort of a conspiracy. You're not going to talk most people out of it not being either what you said, someone from another country or our own government. Like, it's going to be bad. And so just for that sake, because I love America and I don't want to see the country as divided as it is right now, that is the biggest worry for me personally.
So let's pivot to a fascinating story that's developing in the world of women's collegiate volleyball.
What a transition, Jason Hammer. You are a pro.
That's why I get paid the big bucks, man.
Let's go from the potential assassination attempt of a president to women's college volleyball. All right, let's see it.
So this women's volleyball team in San Jose State, they're dominating. They're number one. I think they're undefeated.
Yeah.
But they've also got a dude on their team who's going full Gaylord Fokker on these chicks, slamming the volleyball in their face.
It's only a game, Fokker.
And you've had one team, Southern Utah, refuse to play them. First of all, hat tip to Southern Utah. This is ridiculous, but what is going on here? Like, is anybody else concerned? Is anybody else complaining about this, Dan?
So it's a fascinating story. First of all, the only place you can get away with this is California. So it'll come as a surprise to no one that this is happening in California. This player, Blair Fleming, formerly Braden Fleming, who was a male, as far as we can tell, until somewhere around teenage years, definitely went through male puberty. We don't know exactly when the transition happened, but we do know that he played women's volleyball in high school. I've spoken to parents of daughters who played against him. I actually just spoke with a parent the other day who told me that they were not informed that this was going to be happening until after the game. They were like, oh, yeah. Because the parents were like, well, who is this person who's jumping higher than anyone I've ever seen in the women's high school volleyball game? Like, who is this? And then, of course, it starts to sort of like, oh, yeah, he was a dude. Anyway, moving on. Fleming went to Coastal Carolina first and then transferred in 2021. And we don't know this, but putting the pieces together, in 2021, a bill was announced in the South Carolina legislature about protecting women's sports. So the timing sort of says, oh, this person realized, like, I'm not going to be able to play women's volleyball in South Carolina. Let me transfer. So he goes to San Jose State. We reported on this story. It was actually Redux who broke the story last year that he was on the team. And then, nothing really came of it. He didn't play a lot last year. It wasn't really a big story. But I followed up on it this year, and I was like, hey, I wonder whatever happened to that Blair Fleming person. And I start looking around, and all of a sudden it's like, wait a minute, San Jose State's off to the best start in program history. I went all the way back, and their archives go to 1999. So we have 25 years of data on the San Jose State team. They've never started 6-0. They're 6-0. Blair Fleming was named to the all-tournament team when they swept the Hawkeye Invitational a couple weeks ago. All-tournament, women's all-tournament team. So then, and to get to the story you're talking about that I uncovered, I was following up, and I was looking on Saturday, and I went, I thought San Jose State was playing today. Let's see how they did. Let's see how Blair Fleming did. And there was no information on the game, guys. Like, none. It was not on the schedule anymore. There wasn't like an article on the team website that said, like, hey, Saturday's game is canceled, whatever. Nothing. No information. So I started digging around, and I emailed Southern Utah, and I was like, hey, what's going on? And they're like, oh, yeah, we canceled. They gave me kind of a generic statement, like, hey, we canceled the game. We wish them the best of luck, all that stuff. And I asked them directly in a follow-up email, did you cancel this game because San Jose State has a transgender player? No response. Now, they didn't confirm it, but they didn't deny it either.
Right.
So I think now that, Outkick and other outlets are getting on this, I think it's going to become a bigger deal and a bigger story. But that's where we are right now, guys. They play tonight, by the way, if anyone wants to watch.
Be curious to see if anybody else decides to fall in line. Nobody wants to be first. It's like going to a wedding. Nobody wants to be first out on the dance floor. But once that first drunk person gets out there, then it's dominoes. Everybody else comes. I'll be curious to see if any other schools decide to cancel those games. Dan Zaksheske of Outkick, check out his work, outkick.com. And tomorrow at 9:40-ish on Outkick, I'll be going head-to-head against Dan on a little crossfire section that we call shot clock violation.
Yeah. You got a win last week that was a pity win because Dan wants to keep it close. Didn't want me to go up 2-0.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Consider it an early Christmas gift. I got you a box with a ribbon and a bow, and it was a big L inside, Dan.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
You got it, man. That's Dan Zaksheske of Outkick. This is the Hammer and Nigel Show.
Scary numbers here when we talk about Social Security. The Social Security Trust Fund is expected to run out of money in less than 10 years. And according to Barron's, an average income couple could lose up to $16,500 every year in Social Security income. That's why it's critical right now you get a hold of Bill Demery, your retirement guy.
I love working with Bill Demery because he breaks things down in a way that we can understand, and he's so easy to work with, responds to messages. That's the kind of customer service you get when you work with Bill Demery, your retirement guy. So right now, discover how you could get every last penny, every last nickel that's rightfully yours with a free, and that's the key word, free custom Social Security analysis. Call Bill Demery today. If you've saved more than $200,000 and have not yet filed for Social Security, call Bill Demery. Let him help you. 317-648-5120. 317-648-5120. That's 317-648-5120. Bill Demery, your retirement guy.
When you have a stuffy nose, life can be a bit unpleasant. Some live every day with a stuffy nose, and that can make life downright miserable. I'm Dr. Madan Kandula with Advent, where we are committed to eliminating your nasal breathing problems with simple in-office procedures like balloon sinuplasty, which requires no surgical cuts, little to no downtime, and can have you breathing better in less than 30 minutes. At Advent, we understand your inability to breathe freely limits your quality of life, and that's why we continue to pioneer the most advanced in-office procedures that have made our practice a global destination for those seeking to live their highest quality of life. Visit AdventKnows.com to see if you're a candidate for the balloon sinuplasty procedure. Because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
Breathe well with simple solutions. Breathe well with simple solutions. AdventKnows.com.
Results may vary.
Need a new work truck? Need a new fleet vehicle? Andy Moore Ford has got you covered. Over 800 new vehicles available on the lot, including the Super Duty trucks available starting only at $43,995. You've got F-150s, transit vans, the custom work vehicles for any industry, all built Ford Tough, and Rangers with that all-new body style from only $36,995. And of course, you want the cool, fun stuff. They've got the Broncos, the Bronco Sports. I'm driving a Bronco. I own a Bronco Sport. And interest rates as low as 0% APR available on new Andy Moore Fords. And when you need service, Andy Moore Ford will come to you. Just schedule it online at AndyMooreFord.com. They'll come, pick up the vehicle, service it, and bring it back to you as good as new. Andy Moore Ford in Plainfield. Visit them on Main Street. Tell them Tony Cat sent you, or find them online at AndyMooreFord.com. That's Andy Moore Ford, M-O-H-R.
I love Andy.
AndyMooreFord.com.
In high school sports, it's fun making big plays, facing off against your school's rival, and winning games.
But behind those exciting moments is a lot of hard work, perseverance, and mental toughness. I'm Kate Garden from Wawasee High School.
And I'm Claire Hack from Jennings County High School. High school sports help student athletes develop the mindset we need to face life's challenges, be resilient, and embrace the uncomfortable.
We learn that overcoming adversity is how we grow, and by leaning into challenges, we develop courage and integrity.
We discover there are no shortcuts to success, and that it only comes when preparation meets opportunity.
Behind all the fun and excitement of playing, we are growing as people and learning powerful life lessons through high school sports.
I am IHSAA Commissioner Paul Neidig. Support the second classroom by buying a ticket to your school's athletic events. Thank you for being a champion of high school sports. This is developing resilience. This is conquering challenges. This is your IHSAA.
Chris Whittakin here. Go to AbsoluteComfort.org for a free second opinion so we can keep you absolutely comfortable every day, all day.
Absolute Comfort is your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
There is still time to get a patio this fall with Indy Decorative Concrete, the patio experts. No subcontractors ever. Big enough to service, small enough to care.
Never miss your favorite shows on WIBC. Get your content to go. Tony Katz, Kendall and Casey, Hammer and Nigel, Tony Kennett, The Gun Guy, Home and Garden. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
Matt Bear, what's up?
Looking at inbound 65 stop and go traffic, MLK to Meridian Penn. Eastbound 70 stop and go from the south split to Tibbs Avenue. On the southwest side, southbound 465 jams from Sam Jones Expressway past Kentucky Avenue and a crash Guyan Road south of 65. Traffic sponsored by Indy Decorative Concrete. There is still time to get a patio this season. Get on the books now for a patio this fall. Indy Decorative Concrete, the patio experts changing the way Indy thinks about concrete. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
88 at the American Standard Cooling Weather Center. Nige, you were out yesterday.
Yep.
Jeff Boggs, not Kenny Rogers, filled in.
Love Jeff.
Did you happen to hear the appearance from AI Tucker Carlson yesterday?
No,
He brought your name up.
Oh, no.
Oh, would you look at that? Nigel is not here today. Let me guess, that fat, red-faced piece of Liston trash called in sick because he's been drinking too much.
Yep.
How many times is he going to quit and start again? Nigel and Indy Mayor Joe Hogsett should hang out. They are both worthless, lazy, and slur their speech. They both ramble on and on. And did I mention they both have red faces and cough a lot? Yeah, that seems super healthy. No red flags there. Hogsett and Nigel's blood type is half B positive and half dark eyes vodka, allegedly. And look who Hammer brought in to be his co-host today, Jeff Boggs. Who the hell is Jeff Boggs? Is that the guy that used to be the side piece of Monica Lewinsky? Is that the guy that goes by not Kenny Rogers on Twitter? I have a $5 bill that says Jeff Boggs is the kind of guy that Letterman would make fun of when he wasn't in the room. The kind of guy that says, you know, Keith Olbermann makes some valid points. All of you disgust me. AI Tucker, out.
Top stories next.
Woo! You know, your garage is the first area of your house that you walk into when you get home from work, usually the last place you walk out of when you're on your way to work. It'd be nice if you had a beautiful Galaxy concrete coating on that garage, right? I mean, my old garage floor was so cracked and dirty and uneven and just ugly. And within a day, Galaxy concrete coatings came in. And, you know, I guess the ongoing slogan with me in my garage is my Galaxy concrete garage floor is out of this world. It's 4 times as strong. It's so easy to clean, and it looks great. And if you're thinking they used that epoxy stuff, they didn't. That's the old standard. What they use is polyurea. It's much better. It's the new premium standard for coatings. Also, how about a lifetime warranty? Not that you'll need it. Call Galaxy right now, 751-9070 to set up a quote, or go to galaxyconcretecoatings.com.
Whether it's the good food or the friendly mood, you can count on Indiana to never lose when it comes to tailgating. And we want to see you at every game. That's why Hubler's got you covered with the best warranty around. So kick off the season in a Hubler quality pre-owned vehicle. Choose from over 2,000 Chevys, Fords, GMCs, Buicks, Nissans, Acuras, Mazdas, Hondas, and many more. All makes and models. Certified. Luxury. Even the hard-to-find ones. Every Hubler Q-certified vehicle is covered by a 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty and includes a 128-point vehicle inspection, plus a free Carfax history report. Keep the tradition alive, knowing Hubler's got you covered for 100,000 miles.
Hubler's got you covered.
Visit drivehubler.com or any of our 12 locations.
Cover me!
Warranty on select models less than 9 years old.
Your home is your sanctuary. Get the peace of mind you deserve with a free estimate on a Generac automatic standby generator for your home from Generator Supercenter, the nation's #1 Generac generator dealer. With expert installation and 24-hour monitoring, Generator Supercenter won't leave you in the dark. Financing is available. Take control of your power today with Generator Supercenter. Call 317-827-0808. Generator Supercenter of Indianapolis, 317-827-0808.
Sebastian Maniscalco.
Now, is this a family? Is this your mother? Where is she? Is she in the crowd? The mom's up there. What kind of family is this? I'm sorry.
It Ain't Right Tour 2025.
The poor mother is in the balcony, and the kids are down here with the father and his gumad. If this was the ladies, the kids would have been up there, and the parents would have been down here.
Sebastian Maniscalco, live on stage in Indianapolis. Gainbridge Fieldhouse, February 16th. Get tickets this Friday at 10 a.m. at Ticketmaster.com.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
Is your pet a digging enthusiast, an escape artist, or a counter surfer? Invisible Fence brand has you covered. For the wannabe landscaper, we've got a solution to keep them active but not destructive. For the escape artist, our personalized pet fences keep them safe and sound at home. Counter surfer? No problem. We know how to keep cheese thieves at bay. Invisible Fence brand. Tailor-made solutions for your pet, your yard, and your needs. Visit invisiblefence.com today.
Your local news coming up in 2 minutes after Fox News Radio from the Technology Recycler Studios. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 5 o'clock.
Take two in the House. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. One day after a 6-month spending bill with an election security string attached failed to pass, Fox News confirms the House is looking at a straightforward spending bill running through December instead of March. House Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries earlier today.
Our commitment remains the same, but we need traditional Republicans to break with MAGA extremists and partner with us so we can keep the government open and meet the needs of the American people.
House Speaker Mike Johnson had faced some bipartisan opposition for a spending bill that would have required proof of citizenship to vote in federal elections. The Senate Majority Leader is also working to advance a stopgap measure. A Mississippi Sheriff's Department is now under federal investigation. The Justice Department announcing a civil rights probe of the Rankin County Sheriff's Department after the torture of 2 black men by 6 white officers who pleaded guilty last year, got sentences ranging from 10 to 40 years in prison. The DOJ investigation will look for any pattern of excessive force or discrimination. Just days before imploding on the way to the Titanic wreckage, the Titan submersible had malfunctioned. That's what a Coast Guard panel heard today.
During testimony at the hearing in South Carolina, Stephen Ross, the scientific director for OceanGate, which owned the submersible, discussed a platform malfunction during a test dive that, according to Ross, disoriented passengers.
The pilot crashed into the rear bulkhead. The rest of the passengers tumbled about.
The pilot was OceanGate's co-founder, Stockton Rush, who died in the implosion days later. Ross said he was not aware of any hull inspection after the platform issue.
Fox's Gernal Scott. America is listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
They weren't credible. 89 degrees, sunny in downtown Indianapolis. No rain currently on your radar. 60 degrees is the expected low tonight. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 5:02. What school leaders in central Indiana thought was a suspicious threat turned out to be nothing of the sort. Ryan Hedrick reports.
The Morgan County Sheriff's Office says they were training at Mooresville High School and left something behind. What that something was, they're not saying. Someone spotted this item, and the school issued an alert, which caused a small panic and brought on an e-learning day. Statewide, more than 20 Hoosier kids have been arrested this week in cases involving threats to schools. Ryan Hedrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
There are 92 counties in Indiana. More than half of them currently are under a burn ban.
Conditions are so dry, and that's kind of where we're in this situation where it's not the best idea to burn.
Randy Bowers at the National Weather Service says most of the state is under a moderate drought, and if you look at the weekend, there are some chances for rain, but the amount you're going to get, not going to be much. 1-to-1 net metering, which credits you for excess electricity sent to the grid at the same rate you pay, supports renewable energy, and reduces bills. It's all part of a plan from Indiana Democratic candidate for governor Jennifer McCormick.
When I bring it up, there are a lot of claps. So, there are just certain topics where it's interesting across the state. When you get that same reaction, it says something. So that net metering is huge.
McCormick's plan, which was released today, also suggests adding ratepayer advocates to the IURC to ensure fair competition. The WNBA regular season ends tonight as the Indiana Fever take on the Washington Mystics out in D.C. Fever coach Christy Sides may cut some starter minutes, thinking about the playoffs this Sunday.
We'll make that decision. We're talking about different options on what that looks like. We just want to make sure on Sunday we're ready to go.
The Fever have known for a few weeks now that they're going to be in the playoffs. They still don't know who they're going to play in the opening round. Traffic and weather in 1 minute. It's 5:04.
Cindy Carrasco has spent a career holding the powerful accountable. As Indiana's Inspector General and Director of the State Ethics Commission, Cindy fought waste, fraud, and abuse wherever she found it. Cindy also combated wrongdoing in state government, which meant standing up and doing the right thing even if it wasn't popular. Now, as our state senator, Cindy Carrasco continues to fight on behalf of all Hoosiers by improving the quality of our children's education, providing tax relief for everyone, and working to make our communities safe by getting law enforcement the resources they need to fight crime, violence, and keep fentanyl away from our families. It's why Cindy has been endorsed by the Indiana Fraternal Order of Police, State Police Alliance, and the Professional Firefighters of Indiana. Because they know that Cindy has their back, and we know she has ours. Vote for more government transparency, better schools, lower taxes, and safer streets. Vote Cindy Carrasco for State Senate.
Paid for by Cindy for Senate.
And with traffic at the fives at 5:05, what's going on, Matt Bear?
Harrison, we are on the east side approaching downtown. It is a crash between Royal Street and the north split. Right now, 2 right lanes are blocked, causing stop traffic back to Rural Street, Keystone Avenue. Looking at northbound 465 on the northwest side, that's slow. 86th Street up to 865. Inbound 65, stop and go. MLK to Meridian Penn. Eastbound as 70 from the west side, stop and go traffic, Tibbs Avenue to Meridian, Illinois. Southwest side, southbound 465, stop and go traffic, Sam Jones Expressway to Kentucky Avenue. Vehicle fire reported, Keystone Avenue at East 56th Street, and a crash Guyan Road south of I-65. Traffic sponsored by Indeed.com. You don't need a job site, you need a hiring platform. Indeed lets you schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from one place. Start at Indeed.com/credit. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And the forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
Another hot and dry day today. We'll see mostly sunny skies with highs near 90. Tonight, mainly clear with lows falling to 62. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Tara Hastings for 93 WIBC.
I'm Harrison Silcox on the Level on the Go and on WIBC.com.
Hammer and Nigel.
Can you believe these characters are weirdos? So let's rock it!
My name is Nigel. Jason Hammer is here. Some of the most bizarre, graphic, fascinating headlines hitting this week include hundreds of Hezbollah members wounded when pagers explode, 2,700 injured, 8 killed in a pager attack on Hezbollah, 9 killed, hundreds wounded as Hezbollah walkie-talkies explode. This is something out of a movie. That's where we'll bring in Breitbart News senior editor at large, Joel Pollack. Joel, you've been covering what's going on with Israel and Hamas and Hezbollah and Iran forever. Did you have exploding pagers on your bingo card? What in the world happened here? Did you see this one coming, and how did this come to fruition?
Well, we did see it coming to some extent because 2 weeks ago, I interviewed an Israeli general at Breitbart.com who said he was convinced that Israel would go to war in Lebanon before the November election in the United States because Israel does not want to leave its fate in the hands of Kamala Harris in the event that she wins. So we knew that something was likely to happen. What we did not know was that Israel, if it is Israel involved, and I assume it is, would be able to detonate the pagers used by senior Hezbollah officials all across Lebanon into Syria, and that they would also do the same with walkie-talkies and other electronic devices used by the organization. effectively, Israel has taken out thousands of senior terrorist operatives at the same time as it has disrupted their communications network. And it's a major, major success from a military point of view. It also minimizes the number of civilian casualties that would normally have come with an attack that took out 3,000 or so terrorists. Now, just about 20 have been killed, over 20, and the 3,000 number, or over 3,000, is the number who have been wounded. But if you think about it, people were carrying these pagers on their belts, perhaps in their chests, areas like that. So these were very serious wounds. And all of these members of the terrorist organization are combatants. They're not civilians. There were a few cases in which bystanders were hurt, but the targeting was such that using small amounts of explosive in these devices meant that the blast radius was very small. So it's probably the most successful targeted killing of terrorists in the history of warfare.
Why were they using pagers?
Well, I'm speaking to you on a mobile phone, and mobile phones, unless you can somehow turn off all of the geolocation services, which you can largely do, but not completely, I believe. Mobile phones use geolocation, and they ping cell towers to operate. So even if you are not using something like Waze or Google Maps, where your location would be pinpointed, the fact that your phone would be in communication through cellular towers means that you could basically be located in a specific area. And that means that if Israel can hack into Lebanon's mobile phone network, and I assume it can, then it can find out where Hezbollah operatives are simply by following their phones. There's some suspicion Israel is doing this already, which is why it has been able to take out so many Hezbollah operatives over the last year or so after Hezbollah attacked Israel unprovoked in October. Israel has often used phones to track Hezbollah fighters, leaders, and so forth. So the organization seems to have made a decision to dump their mobile phones and to move to this more primitive pager system. But the source they were getting the pagers from had evidently been infiltrated by, or was always controlled by, Israel. And the Israelis allegedly put explosives in the pager devices that could be remotely detonated.
So Hezbollah is like, look, we can't use our cell phones anymore. We got to switch to pagers, but we got to procure thousands of pagers. How do we do that? Somebody in Hezbollah says, hey, I got a guy that can get us a bunch of pagers, and presumably they were intercepted by Israelis, and all were booby-trapped with explosives that were automatically detonated. Do you know why? And maybe you kind of alluded to it at the beginning of the segment. Why now? Was this before the election when Kamala Harris could presumably take over as president here in the United States?
Yes. Kamala Harris is going to bring extreme anti-Israel advisors into the administration, in addition to those who are already there, if she wins the election in November. Right now, if you look at the betting markets, it's a 50-50 proposition. I happen to think that Trump has the edge, but it is certainly possible that she could win the election. And given all the media coverage of how well she supposedly did in the debate and so forth, it does seem like it's a distinct possibility that she will win. And Israel has to plan for that contingency. It's not going to wait for her to win or for her to take office and bring all of these anti-Israel officials into her administration. It was interesting to watch her conversation earlier this week with the National Association of Black Journalists. They did not ask her one question about the most important issue, or so we were told, for Black Americans, which is criminal justice reform. They didn't ask about that at all, but they asked three questions about the war between Israel and Hamas, and it's clear they are pressuring her to take a more anti-Israel position. So she is going to be listening to the left. She has a list of anti-Israel advisors. You can name them. They're on Breitbart. We've covered that. And that's who she's bringing in. So Israel's not going to wait around. Also, she's sticking to her position that the United States should deny Israel weapons if it doesn't like the way Israel's carrying out its war. Again, not a war that Israel chose, by the way, a war that was foisted upon it by Hamas and Hezbollah and Iran. So she's bad news, and Israel realizes that unless it acts to get rid of Hezbollah or push Hezbollah back from the border, it's never going to be able to return the 60,000 civilians that have been evacuated from northern Israel to their homes. And there's no reason that civilians should have been forced to leave anywhere in Israel. So Kamala Harris is bad news for Israel. I know that there are Democrats who would like to believe otherwise, and maybe some Jewish Democrats who are still voting for her regardless because of other issues. But the fact is that Israel sees Kamala Harris as a potential disaster. So they're acting now to take the choice out of her hands, essentially.
Joel, Jason Hammer here. So the leaders of Hezbollah, they've said that blowing up the pagers and blowing up the walkie-talkies is an act of war, and they're promising retaliation. Should we be concerned about that? I mean, is an escalation even possible? It kind of feels like things are at a high level already.
Yeah, it's not a retaliation. It certainly is an act of war, but that's because Hezbollah started the war. Hezbollah started attacking Israel on October 8th, and the attacks were pretty low level at first, maybe 20 or so rockets or missiles every day, but they've killed nearly 50 people, and they've wounded nearly 300 people in Israel. And as a result, the Israelis have moved 60,500 people from 74 towns, both Jewish and Arab towns, out of northern Israel, which means those are ghost towns. People can't go to school. They can't go to work. The only people in those towns are farmers who are still tending to the agriculture, but they do so under the shadow of death. You can't have that situation. This is a war Hezbollah chose. So none of this is, kind of retaliation it's an act of war. It's, of course, an act of war. It's a legitimate, justified war. It's an effort to remove the Hamas terrorist leadership and possibly to disrupt their communications ahead of a broader military strike. But Israel is fully within its rights under international law to do all of this because Hezbollah has, just continued attacking both military and civilian targets in Israel with virtual impunity. And despite months of Israel asking it to stop, firing back only at the sources of fire, asking the international community to pressure Hezbollah, asking the Lebanese government to stop allowing Hezbollah to operate. Hezbollah is not even allowed to be near the border. They're not even allowed to have weapons under UN Security Council Resolution 1701, which is not being enforced. So Israel has no choice. They're doing what they have to do.
Yeah, and you mentioned the international community. We'll end on this, Joel. I feel like there's more protests against Israel, pro-Hamas protests in Ivy League colleges here in the United States than there are in the Middle East. Like, what's the feeling from Egypt or other countries surrounding Israel towards Hamas and towards this conflict?
Well, the reason you don't see protests in the Middle East is that there are no protests of any kind allowed in the Middle East unless the government is behind the protests. So you're not seeing it there, but they are moving the protests here in a sense. I mean, people who are anti-Israel.
Okay.
And there's some evidence that Iran is funding some of these protests. They're staging the protests in the West, and they want to change Western public opinion. But look, there are some elites and some regimes in the Middle East that are willing to have peace with Israel. That's why you have the United Arab Emirates leading the way on the Abraham Accords and several other Arab countries joining as well. The president of the UAE is actually visiting the United States soon. So that's good. I mean, these regimes, they're autocracies. They rule their countries with an iron fist, but peace is preferable to war. And Israel is not telling them how to run their countries, not telling them to be more democratic. It's perfectly happy to deal with the Emiratis, for example, as long as they want peace. And if they want peace, then Israelis can deal with them and visit Dubai and Abu Dhabi and even live there and go back and forth. And that's actually what has continued to happen. There are no protests against Israel, but I think if you had a fair poll of Arab populations in the region, they would be anti-Israel because they still subsist on a steady diet of anti-Israel propaganda that's often pumped out by these regimes, not so much in the UAE, but in other places. But protest isn't really a thing in the Middle East unless the regime is doing it for international
I guess maybe I should have used support for Hamas, maybe a more general term.
Everyone supports it until it comes to their country.
Sure.
So, I don't think Hamas has really broad support. The Palestinians do, but it's a hard question to know how to answer because I think right now Hamas is associated with the Palestinian cause, so you can say it has support. Independently, though, I don't think that most people in the Middle East are comfortable with terror organizations running rampant. But the real issue is this: can Israel stop Iran? Because it's not the Arab world really driving this conflict. Palestinians are Arabs, yes, but within Israel, 20% of the population is Arab, and they're fighting with Israel against the terrorists. The terrorists are being funded, armed, and trained by Iran, which is a non-Arab power. It's outside of the Arab world. It's part of the Muslim world, but part of the Shia Muslim world. And they're sending the billions of dollars to the terrorist organizations. Yes, the terrorists are Arabs in many cases, but sometimes they are Shia organizations like Hezbollah in Lebanon. Sometimes they are Palestinian organizations like Hamas and Palestinian Islamic Jihad. Sometimes they are Shia militias in Iraq. Whatever they are, they're connected by money and sometimes by culture and religion to Iran. But Iran is not actually an Arab power. So it's not the Arab world really driving this conflict, even though it involves Arab fighting. It is Iran. And once you cut off Iran's weapons and money, the conflict basically ends because the Arab world is, or at least I should say the Arab regimes are ready to make peace with Israel.
Man, nobody breaks it down better than Joel Pollack, Breitbart News senior editor at large. Also the author of the recently released book, The Agenda, What Trump Should Do in His First 100 Days. Joel, thanks for coming on with us. Have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you soon.
Talk soon.
Matt Baer has a look at the roads.
Yeah, Hammer looking at westbound 70 crash approaching the north split, blocking 2 right lanes, stopping us back to Emerson Avenue. And our delay time right now is about 15 minutes. Looking at the east side, southbound 465, there's stop-and-go traffic before 70 down to Washington Street, and a crash southbound 465 at I-70. That's on the left shoulder, adding to the delay. Not quite to Penn Pike, but definitely past the 70 interchange. Inbound 65, stop-and-go before MLK to the north split. Eastbound 70, stop-and-go traffic, Tibbs Avenue into the south split. Southwest side, southbound 465 jams after Sam Jones Expressway past Kentucky Avenue. Crash Michigan Road at 86th Street. Crash Michigan Road south of 60th. Vehicle fire Keystone Avenue at East 56th. Traffic sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Progressive Insurance offers you auto, home, and commercial auto insurance plus a variety of business insurance options. Visit Progressive.com today. That's Progressive.com. I'm Matt Baer. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
89 at the American Standard Cooling Weather Center. Are you okay with this? Next.
When you have a stuffy nose, life can be a bit unpleasant. Some live every day with a stuffy nose, and that can make life downright miserable. I'm Dr. Madan Kandula with Advent, where we are committed to eliminating your nasal breathing problems with simple in-office procedures like balloon sinuplasty, which requires no surgical cuts, little to no downtime, and can have you breathing better in less than 30 minutes. At Advent, we understand your inability to breathe freely limits your quality of life, and that's why we continue to pioneer the most advanced in-office procedures that have made our practice a global destination for those seeking to live their highest quality of life. Visit AdventKnows.com to see if you're a candidate for the balloon sinuplasty procedure, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
Breathe well with simple solutions. Breathe well with simple solutions. AdventKnows.com.
Results may vary.
According to a 2023 Gallup poll, 71% of non-retired adults are worried about retirement saving. At Howard Bailey Financial, we don't believe retiring with confidence should be guesswork. In fact, our mission is to help you gain clarity and purpose and elevate meaning in your life through personal and practical financial strategies. That's why we provide our Retire with Purpose Toolkit at no cost. In it, you'll find valuable information on minimizing taxes, maximizing Social Security, and building a retirement income you won't outlive. To receive your complimentary toolkit, text CLARITY to 866-482-9559. Take a step toward a more confident retirement with Howard Bailey Financial and text CLARITY to 866-482-9559.
This endorsement was not provided by a client of Howard Bailey. This individual was compensated for this endorsement. For more information, visit howardbailey.com/TS1.
After college, Mike Braun could have gone anywhere. He chose to move back to his hometown of Jasper, Indiana. There, he started a small business, kept his head down, worked hard, and turned his small business into a national company, employing thousands of Hoosiers. He'll use that same determination for us. Lead the charge on lowering the price of gas, groceries, energy, take on the big healthcare companies to increase healthcare access and lower costs. And Mike will improve education across our state by increasing school choice. Mike will make our streets safer, back the blue, and stop illegal immigration if the federal government won't. Because Braun believes every Hoosier should be safe and secure in their community. As governor, Braun will continue working for Hoosiers. Because when you're Mike, working hard is just what you do. Mike Braun, governor. Paid for by Mike Braun for Indiana.
Earn, save, grow. It's time your money works harder and goes further with a Stockyards Bank and Trust CD. For a limited time, earn 5.15 annual percentage yield with our 5-month CD special. Proudly serving our communities since 1904. Visit any of our 5 Indianapolis area locations or syb.com/IndyCD today and experience the Stockyards Bank difference. 10,000 minimum balance required. Limited time offer. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline Nasal Spray.
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
Inside Indiana Business Radio, the news you need to get ahead. Indiana's business news leader, weekdays at 6:32 a.m. and 5:56 p.m. on WIBC.
This hour on 93 WIBC is powered by Absolute Comfort, your American Standard air dealer serving Central Indiana.
Are you okay?
Everything's gonna be okay.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
I'm pretty far from okay.
Are you okay with this? On the Hammer and Nigel show.
Oh, yeah! Hammer, a teen named James Bond in Ohio City, Ohio. It's a teenager. His name's James Bond. Just a coincidence, I guess. He told authorities that he had spotted an alligator while out fishing. Now, after investigating, the city says that there is no gator. Here is Bond, James Bond, making the claim.
I'm pretty sure I'm almost pretty 100% sure I saw an alligator pop up out of the water. And the first thing I had in my mind was maybe it was an otter, because you know how they have their heads up and their stomachs poke out. But then I zoomed in with my phone and I realized that there were scales.
Are you okay with James Bond calling the police because he spotted an alligator in Ohio City, Ohio?
Yes, because I don't think you can rule it out. Now, it's not a natural habitat environment, but what if somebody has one as a pet and they just unloaded it, right? We talked about this yesterday when you were gone. The running back for the Kansas City Chiefs, the kid that played high school football at Center Grove, Carson Steele, he has a pet alligator, and it's at his parents' house. Yeah. And it's like a big talking point. Every time there's a Chiefs game and he gets in, they show the picture of him as a kid with his pet alligator. So maybe, just maybe, it's something like that. Now, here's the other angle. I had a conversation earlier today with the news director here at 93 WIBC, John Herrick, and he was wondering if it would be in poor journalistic standard to do this report on the air and put the James Bond music behind it. Bum, 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 bum. I don't think anybody would have judged John Herrick if he would have done that.
No.
I think it would have added to the story. It's a fun story. It's not like anybody got killed here or, the damn alligator bit my hand off. Nothing like that at all. And last but certainly not least, thank God the alligator was in Ohio City, Ohio, and not Springfield, Ohio.
Oh, no.
Because the Haitians, you know what they've been known to do. Cue up the band.
They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. Eat the cat. Eat the cat. They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. Eat the cat.
Come on.
Eat the cat. Eat the cat. They're eating the cats. They're eating the dogs. Eat the cat. Eat the cat. Eat the cat.
The Springfield, Ohio remix.
All right, real quick. Are you okay with this? Ellen DeGeneres. It's a brand new stand-up special hitting Netflix next week. In the trailer, she kind of jokes about how things turned out for her in show business towards the end of her show.
All right, well, let me catch up on what's been going on with me since you saw me last. I decided to take up gardening. I got chickens. Let me see what else I can tell you about. Oh, yeah, I got kicked out of show business. Yeah, the Be Kind girl wasn't kind. That was the headline. Here's the problem. I'm a comedian who got a talk show, and I ended the show every day by saying, be kind to one another. Had I ended my show by saying, go yourselves, people would have been pleasantly surprised to find out I'm kind. I didn't go into this business for money. It was about healing my childhood wounds. I thought if I could make people happy, then they'll like me. And if they like me, I'll feel good about myself. And all I can say about that is thank God for the money.
Ellen DeGeneres special on Netflix. Are you okay with this?
No, not at all. So she's not in Hollywood or showbiz anymore because she was such a witch or something similar to people. It's not like she came out as a Trump supporter and got canceled. You know, you can't be a Republican or a conservative in Hollywood.
No.
Imagine this. She was too much of an a-hole to work in Hollywood. Let that sink in for just a little bit. We had Jeff Boggs in here yesterday, and he has worked with a bunch of these people. He's met everybody. And from what he told us yesterday, Allison, back me up here, the stories are true about Ellen. She was just an unlikable, just miserable woman.
Yeah, he said he had multiple people he knew that worked for her that can verify that before even the whole scandal came out.
Right. So again, imagine being too miserable of a person to work in Hollywood. Speaking of miserable people,
here it comes.
Here comes Rob Kendall.
There he is.
He's coming in the studio. He's ripping his shirt off like Hulk Hogan, and he is ready to go off the rails. That's coming up right after we check the news with Harrison Silcox.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level. On the go.
Our plan for your energy bill, 89 degrees, sunny in downtown Indianapolis. A check of the radar comes up clear of any trouble. Temperatures drop to about 60 after sundown. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 5:30. You're paying more for energy these days. Indiana's Democratic candidate for governor says these price hikes are excessive. Ryan Hedrick reports.
Jennifer McCormick says the 5-member panel called the Indiana Utility Regulatory Commission, or the IURC, which is appointed by the governor, isn't working for you.
We hear from bipartisan mayors and town councils and city councils that are very frustrated. They feel like the IURC is a rubber stamp, and there's very little voice that is even considered.
The IURC sets utility rates, and McCormick says she has a 4-point plan to overhaul the panel and bring costs under control. Ryan Hedrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
While talking at the Economic Club in Washington Thursday, President Joe Biden bragged about his work on improving the country's economy.
Remember how many economists thought we need a recession to bring down inflation? There was even a major financial news headline, which I'll not reference, saying 100% chance of recession in 2023. Well, instead, our economy grew by more than 3% last year, and inflation came way down.
The Fed cut interest rates yesterday for the first time in over 4 years, something the president's happy with. The FBI has accused Iran of sending messages to people in the Biden-Harris campaign that included stolen material from Donald Trump's campaign.
No foreign government like Iran or Russia are actively seeking to influence in our elections, and so we have said that, we know that, and that's why you've seen us take actions to hold accountable those who seek to undermine confidence in our democracy, and we will continue to do so.
White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre, she says that President Biden is aware of the accusations. And following the death of Newton County Corporal Brandon Schreiber, state police have given some more information about his upcoming funeral service. Here's Sasha Nixon.
Schreiber died on September 11th. Police believe he was shot by Andrew Raselius on September 1st after Raselius led officers on a chase in Indiana and Illinois. Now officers say his funeral service will be held at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time Friday at the Newton County Fairgrounds. But unlike some services for fallen law enforcement officers, there will not be a procession that day. Sasha Nixon, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
With traffic at 5:32, here's Matt Baer.
All right, coming into the north split on westbound 70, that is a crash blocking the right lane, slowing traffic past Emerson Avenue. East side crash southbound 465, just pushed out of the interstate to the left shoulder, and I'm told all lanes are open. Traffic is stopped for about a half a mile. Eastbound 70, stop and go traffic from Tibbs Avenue into the south split. Inbound 65, stop and go from the White River to Meridian Penn. On the north side, eastbound 465, 65 loaded from Westfield Boulevard over to Allisonville Road. Crash Michigan Road at 86th Street. Crash Michigan Road south of 60th. And traffic sponsored by Indy Decorative Concrete. There is still time to get a patio this season. Get on the books now for a patio this fall. Indy Decorative Concrete, the patio experts changing the way Indy thinks about concrete. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And the forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
Another hot and dry day today. We'll see mostly sunny skies with highs near 90. Tonight, mainly clear with lows falling to 62. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Tara Hastings for 93 WIBC.
I'm Harrison Silcox on The Level on the Go and on WIBC.com.
I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, "I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore!"
And now, Hammer and Nigel go off the rails with Rob Kendall.
Noise pollution.
My name is Nigel. Jason Hammer is here. Also joining us live in studio, Rob Kendall from the Kendall and Casey Show. Here to go off the rails. Rob, how are you?
Great. Thanks as always to our segment sponsor, Garage Doors of Indianapolis.
It was funny, like late last week, earlier this week, I don't know, some Democrat polls came out and said, boy, the local races here in Indiana are very tight. And then like a real poll came out and said, nah, not so much. I heard you talking to this with Abdul at one point. Can you kind of break down your take on what happened with this this local polling data with the governor, the attorney general, blah, blah, blah?
Yeah, so the Democrats put out this poll from a Washington, D.C.-based firm that showed their races, on-demand abortion advocate Destiny Wells, who's a total sea hag.
Wow.
Within the margin of error against Rokita. And then, of course, Jennifer McCormick against Braun in the margin of error was like 41-39, and Wells was like 41-44. And they're just like tweeting out like these euphoric victory laps. And it's like, there's no way that you two, as extreme as you are, McCormick and Wells, are anywhere close. First of all, with Destiny Wells, she got boat raced by Diego Morales, who is arguably the worst candidate to ever seek statewide office. And, you know, he smoked her 54-40. That's the best you're going to do. And, you know, they were doing these, like, Wells did this bizarre thing where she's like, yes, our poll shows abortion is the #1 issue in the state of Indiana.
#1.
Yeah.
More so than the economy, you know, taxes, gas prices, grocery prices, abortion.
Yeah, and it's not that I needed further affirmation, because I'd talked to one of the campaigns and I got a hold of some of their internals, and it was basically what this next poll we're about to talk about shows. But it's like, that negates everything this poll is going to tell me, that we're supposed to believe Hoosiers abortion is their top issue over inflation or the economy. And so then Emerson did polling for Fox 59 and CBS 4. They have polling requirements to make their governor's debate. We can talk about that in a little bit if you want. And their poll, which is a legitimate, respected, long-time polling firm, shows no, none of these races are close at all. They're all, Rokita's at 49, Wells is at 35, Braun's at 45, McCormick's at 34, Banks is 13 or 14 points ahead, Trump is like 17 points ahead of Kamala.
I don't even know who's running against Banks.
Neither do the Democrats, right?
Well, the guy that he boat raced in the congressional race, that Snyder guy, he always likes to troll people, and he gets on social media. That dude, I think they're still counting Jim Banks' votes against that loser. He got beat so bad. But yet he's Johnny Tough Guy on social media.
None of these races are close. All the Republicans are going to get well over 50% in the statewide races. The Democrats have nothing to offer people. McCormick and Wells are social extremists. I mean, they're just complete lunatics. And, it's a joke. And it's too bad. It actually is too bad, because the Democrats being so ineffective and so unserious as candidates enable the Republicans to behave and govern the way that they do.
Have you seen one of McCormick's campaign ads where she says I was a Republican when I was state superintendent? Yeah. Like, she actually wants people to know, hey, I was a Republican, but which I thought was a weird strategy for some reason. You know what I mean?
McCormick told Adam Wren, who I know you guys love Adam Wren.
Oh, you love Adam Wren. Let's make that perfectly clear. If there's anybody in this room that loves them some Adam Wren, it's you.
Well, look, he's been very nice to me in his pieces, and he always quotes me correctly.
He hasn't outed your sexual assault?
Okay.
You must be in the minority, allegedly.
The point of all this is she did an interview with her last year, and she claimed she couldn't remember if she voted for Donald Trump in 2016 or not. And even Wren was like, this seems a little suspect to me, right? I mean, this is how disingenuous these people are. You have one person, Destiny Wells, and by the way, how sick is this? She has multiple children, and she's doing victory laps that in her warped world, abortion is the top issue in the state of Indiana. I mean, what is wrong with the person who has birthed multiple children who is doing a victory lap over people supposedly being all in on abortion? I mean, these people are just complete lunatics. She's a total non-starter, and so is McCormick.
All right, two things. Number one, if you put your ear up to the radio, I think you can actually hear Adam Wren looking at a photo of Pete Buttigieg. And number two, knowing the way the Democrats feel about Todd Rokita. Like, if you're Destiny Wells, you're going to get beat by Diego Morales and Todd Rokita. Like, other than losing to Murdoch, I mean, my God, that's got to drive her nuts more than anything else.
Well, what is your thing? If she loses one more election, we all get a free sub?
Right. If you are a rewards member to Subway, if every time Destiny Wells loses, they punch a hole in your ticket, we're one away from a free sub.
Well, look, she is a horrible candidate once you get to know her because she's so extreme on her positions, but so is McCormick. It's the exact same thing. And you're right. If you were to pick two people to run against, Diego would be the first choice. And look, Rokita's got some serious issues related to this disciplinary commission and has had a lot of bad headlines. And
now, I'm not saying that they're the same candidate. Rokita is a much better candidate than Diego Morales.
Infinitely
but he's a flamethrower, and people despise him because of it.
Right. Rokita, other than the train wreck that was his Senate candidacy in 2018, has always been a very good statewide candidate. He was great as Secretary of State. He was very effective. Now, Congress isn't statewide, but he was easily a winner there. And he's easily won as Attorney General. He knows how to turn out the vote. And look, the Democrats cannot help themselves. You know, McCormick had a lane, an opportunity, because I think Braun is probably a flawed candidate too. If she'd have come out and said on abortion, look, I am not where the Indiana General Assembly is on this, but it's a decided issue. I'm going to be working with a Republican General Assembly. There's no appetite to revisit this. So let's just put this to the side. I'm not going to address it. We're not going to talk about it. I'm not going to try to change it.
If she came out against late term stuff.
Sure.
Because I think, honestly, that's where a lot of people that don't consider themselves diehard politicos fall in the category of. Like, they're maybe okay with what happens early on, but that late stuff is where they draw the line.
15 weeks is the general consensus in this country. That's what the Mississippi abortion case was about that ended up overturning Roe versus Wade.
But Mississippi wanted more.
Well, but they
backfired on them.
They can't.
Yeah.
The problem is they can't help themselves.
Yeah.
Right? The Democrats who run for statewide office are beholden to a base of lunatics, and they have to go to that. There is no limit on abortion. For Destiny Wells, for Jennifer McCormick, I'm sure Valerie McRae, who is the Senate candidate running against Banks, is the same way. We know Kamala is that way. Trump called her out on it in the debate, and she wouldn't give it. If they won't give you a number, there is no number, right? And so the Democrats have pigeonholed themselves to where people say, well, man, I don't like Republican spending. I don't like Republican taxes, but I can't have men in the women's restrooms. I can't have men playing women's sports. I can't have 9-month abortions being legal in the state. And so they keep voting for the Republicans.
Going off the rails with Rob Kendall of the Kendall and Casey show here on the Hammer and Nigel show. So let's pivot to big picture nationally. Since the debate, I think Donald Trump has been pretty good. Now, he almost got shot, but out on the campaign trail, I thought his messaging last night at that rally in New York was spot on. He didn't ramble. It wasn't too much of a flamethrower per se. He was asking people to have them vote for him, which is something we haven't seen him do in a while.
Said this today on the show. I equate for some people, not for us, and I'm sure not for you, not for me, and I'm sure not for you guys, but I equate voting for Trump like being in a very toxic relationship for some people, where 1 week you're like, oh my gosh, this is the greatest partner I could ever ask for, and he's so sweet, or she is so sweet and romantic and charming, and man, I can never see myself with anybody else. And then the very next week, you're like, this is the worst relationship I've ever been in.
Are you telling me that Donald Trump is the car saleswoman from The Sopranos? That's what you're telling me, Rob?
Oh, wow. That's an interesting reference.
And as weird as this sounds, like, I think people are going to vote in some cases based on what relationship they're in with Trump the week of the election or the week of when they vote, because you're right, he was incredible on Gutfeld. He was great at that rally. But then there's that debate where you're just like, what is happening?
I was kind of surprised to hear you tell Casey this morning that you think Trump is a bad debater, because he's had great moments. Let's be honest. He has had some great debates, but it's been hot and cold. Like, he did wonderful on the CNN debate, I thought.
Well, he was debating a human vegetable.
Well, sure.
I mean, I think Trump's problem is he doesn't speak in a way that is appealing to the human ear. He's very choppy. His sentences are often either run-ons or, he merges three thoughts together. I think he's an incredible campaigner. I just think he's a bad debater because I don't think he stays on topic. I think he gets too led astray. I think the way he describes things isn't appealing to the human ear. I just don't think he's a great debater. That being said, his rallies are phenomenal, and I love them.
Can you stick around for one more break?
Yeah, totally.
Because we need to reset the bet that we made for this Colts and Bears game.
Oh, yeah,
coming up this weekend.
Yeah, I missed this.
Because Rob is Mr. Chicago Bear. It's like I'm looking at a mini Ditka right now, and I'm a Colts fan. So we will reset the little wager that we've got coming up here in just a moment. Rob Kendall's coming right back. This is the Hammer and Nigel Show.
Did you know the Social Security Trust Fund is expected to run out of money in less than 10 years? And according to Barron's, an average income couple could lose up to $16,500 every year in Social Security income. Multiply that by 10 or 20 years, and it could be hundreds of thousands of dollars. That's why it's so critical you have the right strategy to file for Social Security.
Discover how you could get every nickel that's rightfully yours with a free, that's the key word, free custom Social Security analysis from Bill Demery, your retirement guy. Bill Demery is my retirement guy. He's Nigel's retirement guy. He should be yours. So if you've saved more than $200,000 and have not yet filed for Social Security, schedule that free analysis right now. 317-648-5120. 317-648-5120. 317-648-5120. Bill Demery, your retirement guy.
Hammer and Nigel here. Hello. The September Diamonds Direct Ultimate Offer is back because, interest rates are skyrocketing everywhere else except Diamonds Direct. Here they are coming to the rescue. This is big. Diamonds Direct helping you get the perfect jewelry gift with 0% interest. Enjoy 5 years, 0% financing on any Diamonds Direct purchase.
And now through October 1st at Diamonds Direct, get their incredible value price and spread your payments over 5 years. Spread it over 5 years with an unheard of interest rate of 0.0%. Yeah, that's right. The Blutarski from Animal House percent, 0.0. Nothing's held back. Rings, pendants, bracelets, earrings, you name it, it's there. But you need to act quickly. This offer ends September 30th. DiamondsDirect.com. Tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you.
Hey, it's Robin. I've put my name behind Garage Doors of Indianapolis for the past 7 years because they're a local conservative company that does quality work on time. In many ways, Garage Doors of Indianapolis is the perfect Hoosier. Recently, they helped my family in a garage door pinch by arriving on site quickly and fixing the problem right away. For all of your garage door needs, call Garage Doors of Indianapolis at 317-875-4577. 317-875-4577. Or visit them at doorstoday.com. Tell them Rob sent you.
At Shane Company, our engagement rings are the perfect blend of design, function, and beauty, each one a unique work of art. We meticulously craft our bridal jewelry in our jeweler's workshop to the highest standards, expertly setting each diamond by hand, ensuring the structure is perfectly balanced, and sizing everything for the perfect fit. Shane Company offers a free unmatched lifetime warranty because your engagement ring is an heirloom that was made to last. You'll cherish your ring today, tomorrow, and forever. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Nobody cares for you like family. Family Heating and Air.
Maintenance is going to drastically increase the efficiency and performance of your system. It's also going to significantly improve the longevity of it. People think that they are saving money by skipping their maintenance, and in reality, they're just shaving years off the life and increasing the consumption of that unit, spending a lot more in the long term.
Get your tune-up today at Family Heating and Air, your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Hammer and Nigel here, inviting you to join us as we kick off the weekend every Friday around 5:45 with Beer Sample Friday, brought to you by our friends at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus.
Shop Grand Appliance for expert advice, thousands of in-stock appliance options, fast delivery, and professional installation. Learn more at grandappliance.com or your local Grand Appliance showroom.
This is Chris Wedican with Absolute Comfort. Go to absolutecomfort.org to find out how dual fuel systems can keep you absolutely comfortable all day, every day.
Absolute Comfort is your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
You want to listen all day to WIBC, but you don't always have time. Don't worry. There's a podcast for that. The WIBC Mashup. Daily highlights from your favorite hosts, Tony Katz, Kendall and Casey, and Hammer and Nigel. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
Matt Bear has a look at the roads.
Crash clear. Westbound 70 before the north has split stop-and-go traffic back to Emerson Avenue. East side, southbound 465, crash at I-70. It's on the left shoulder, stop-and-go traffic back to Penn Pike. Crash south side, this is Beech Grove, Hannah Avenue at Arlington Avenue. Inbound 65, stop-and-go traffic from the White River to Meridian Penn. Eastbound 70, stop-and-go on the approach to the south split. This is from Belmont. Traffic sponsored by Suburban Indie Home and Outdoor Living Show. The Suburban Indie Home and Outdoor Living Show at Grand Park, featuring over 200 exhibitors, September 20th through the 22nd. Tickets are only $7 at suburbanindieshows.com. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
87 right now at the American Standard Cooling Weather Center at 93 WIBC. Back with Rob Kendall from the Kendall and Casey Show. He's joining us to go off the rails. All right, so for those who did not hear, what is the wager that you and I have for this big Colts and Bears showdown on Sunday?
Well, even though the Bears are getting 1.5 points, we're just going to do a money line straight winner or loser bet. And
they're pretty equal teams.
Yeah,
equally bad.
Equally bad. That is correct. Yes, and I'll be.
And you're a huge Bears fan. You'll be there.
And I got tickets through work to go to the game. Was that snobby of me that they tried to give me tickets to the opening week, and I was like, no, I don't want those. I'd like the Bears tickets, please.
See, at first I thought so. Like, you're the contest winner that's like, dude, just take what you want and shut up.
Yeah.
But the way you spun it, the way you took it and made it so, hey, these folks want to go to opening day.
Right.
Let them go to that. Mm-hmm. That's prestigious. I want to go to the Bears game.
I was a babyface. I spun it where I was the good guy and all that. Anyway, you and I have decided the loser has to go to the local liquor store, buy a cheap, very cheap bottle of vodka, maybe a Dark Eyes or something like that.
Something in a plastic container.
Yes,
right.
That's
traveler,
with a handle.
Yeah.
And then you and I will hand deliver it on film to the mayor's office, and we're going to put a card attached to it that just simply says "for shenanigans."
For office shenanigans. And it's my thinking that,
oh, no.
Joe should accept it. Why wouldn't he? He claims he doesn't have a problem. He claims he's never been to rehab. Why wouldn't he accept the bottle of vodka?
I love this. There is no loser in this. Usually, like last time you had to write a check to Bernie Sanders. I think
Did that ever get cashed?
It cashed. Yes.
And then,
but you had to write another one, though, didn't you?
Yeah, I had to write one to Hogsett because I lost the bet to Rob. And the memo in the check said, drinks on me.
Did that cash?
That did not.
Oh.
But we sent one to Bernie Sanders' fundraising campaign where the memo was socialist stuff.
And then I lost
every dollar helps, I guess.
Yeah, and I lost a bet to Hammer one time. I had to sing Rocky Top in overalls and a straw hat. So, but this one, there is no loser because, one of us will have to buy the vodka, but society's going to be the big winner.
I don't know if Hammer told you this or not, but please don't wear any Bears paraphernalia down in those seats. I was in those seats for the home opener that you're sitting in, and they don't want Bears fans down there.
Well, you would have to be a complete ungrateful buffoon to wear another team's jersey to...
Wait a minute.
Somewhere, our old producer, TK Dub, just switched the channel because that moron would go in the suite.
Yeah.
Like, he'd win a contest here where he'd go in the suite with Colts advertisers and, team officials and Jeff
cringe.
Smulyan, and he'd go in there like Putty from Seinfeld, painting his face with a
Steve McNair
Go support
jersey
the
on.
team.
Yeah.
Right.
Go support the team.
My wife asked me that. She's like, what do we wear to the foosball game? I said, nothing with the Bears on it. We'll be quiet. We'll be quiet fans and represent the company well.
We have a new podcast out today.
We do. The Degenerates Next Door. The NFL lines are out. We've got bets galore, and we've got takes on this very game. Not just this bet, but what do we think is going to happen as it relates to putting some coinage in your pocket.
And I got action tonight.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to need some action to watch the game tonight because it stinks. Patriots at the Jets.
Oh, yeah.
So download it right now, wherever you get your podcast, The Degenerates Next Door. And as for the award-winning, #1 rated Kendall and Casey show, what's coming up tomorrow?
Well, I'm out tomorrow, so the much better broadcasting and better looking Casey's husband, Jim, will be in.
All right. Okay, I like him.
Yeah, he's a good dude.
He coached up Casey on her celebrity beer ball.
Yeah. And
he was like Mick to her Rocky.
Casey was incredible. Did you guys talk about that, by the way?
That. Yeah. And
very impressive last Friday.
No spillage was what she said.
None.
And I have said, when I inevitably get fired from here, I hope they replace me with Jim.
Special thanks to
Raj Doors of Indianapolis. You guys are the best.
He's off the rails. That's Rob Kendall. This is the Hammer and Nigel Show.
Consumer warning. Stay away from stablecoin Tether. Tether is a cryptocurrency company with a so-called stablecoin called USDT. It's supposed to be backed 1-for-1 by the US dollar. But Tether's murky past exposes Americans to outsized risk, shady practices, false claims, legal entanglements, deliberate lack of transparency. The United Nations called Tether the preferred choice for regional cyber fraud operations and money launderers. Tether has never published an independent audit of its finances and operations. Financial rating company S&P gave Tether a high-risk rating, a major red flag. Warning.